But he didn't write this one, did he? I don't think he wrote this one.
I think
he plays on it.
Yeah.
Does he? Okay, I'm wrong. Okay, sorry. My bad.
That's cool. I mean, this is
so
this
condescending.
That's cool. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and well, that's pretty much it. So let's go.
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, a different artist. We break down one of their records. We find out all the little secrets about it, and then we let everyone in on those secrets. We really teach the world about music on this podcast. My name is Tyler. Here in California, hundreds of miles away in the state of Arizona is Jeff, and then even farther away, hundreds and hundreds of miles away, is friend of the pod Skip in England.
Hello.
So there's three of us this episode, and it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a big one. While you're listening, go to Apple Podcasts, go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. We have a phone number you can call. Leave us a voicemail. Send us a text. The phone number is 503-893-5307. And we have a Discord server. If you want to join that, hit us up. We'll send you the link and talk shit on us and just hang out. So that's all I got for the boring intros. So what are we doing today, Jeff? Go.
Oh, it's me. Okay. We're doing the Marilyn Manson's album Antichrist Superstar.
Now, with all of that being said, what are our origin stories with the Marilyn Mansons? So what do you got, Jeff? Go.
So I kind of have like a twofold origin story. The first time I ever seen Marilyn Manson, heard of Marilyn Manson, knew anything about Marilyn Manson was when Mechanical Animals came out. And it was just so fucking weird. It was so bizarre. And the cover art is just so weird. And so I belonged to the Columbia House Records, and you paid like $20 or something, and then you bought one album, and then you got like 15, 20 other albums for a penny. And that's when I got like Marilyn Manson's Mechanical Animals. So I've listened to the album like a lot when I was, 10, and then just never again until now this week. But the first time I liked Marilyn Manson, because I just bought Mechanical Animals because it was new, it was popular, people were talking about it. I didn't really like it. I was trying to be a cool guy. So the first time I liked Marilyn Manson was Celebrity Deathmatch. I bought the CD, maybe even from Columbia House Records, and that was a year after Mechanical Animals came out. Celebrity Deathmatch had a CD that they put out, and that was the first time that I heard Eminem was through that Celebrity Deathmatch one, and that was I talked about that at a different episode. But that was the first time I liked Marilyn Manson. The song was Astonishing Panorama of the End Times. Astonishing Panorama of the End Times. And I guess he wrote it for Celebrity Deathmatch, I think. But that was the first time that I listened to Marilyn Manson and thought like, oh, this is actually really cool. But I think I was just kind of also just enamored by Celebrity Deathmatch, so anything I heard on that comp, and that comp was a good fucking comp. It had PM5K, Exhibit, Eminem, Lit was on it, Primus was on it. Like there was a lot of really good bands. I
remember us talking about that not too long ago. That comp,
like that would be a dope comp to do.
Yeah.
But that was the first time that I listened to Manson and liked it, because I never, even like when I got it from the Columbia House Records, I didn't like Mechanical Animals that much. I bought it because again it was shocking, and I still do like the Dope Show. I think it's a cool song. It's just very stupid. It's very petty. It's pandering to kind of like a pop sound, and but it's fine. It's fine, whatever. But after Celebrity Deathmatch, that comp, and I got rid of my CDs at some point, I have not listened to any Marilyn Manson, any capacity until this week. Not even like Dope Show. I've not listened to any track by Marilyn Manson in well over 10 years.
All right.
Yep.
So that's your origin story. Skip, what do you got for when did you first hear of Manson?
My origin story, way back when. So, as an aside, Astonishing Panorama of the End Times. That was the studio track, the one studio track on the live album, Last Tour on Earth. John 5 actually being able to rip it up on guitar on that track. Some great shit. Cool. My origin, a little bit later, I think, because I'm a little bit younger than you guys, I think. I was born in 1990, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're 3 years younger than us.
Yeah, there's not a lot in it, but obviously, like, a lot happens, well, musically in that time. I think was probably the Tainted Love cover, which is, like, just before Golden Age.
Yeah, and Joey Jordison was in that video.
Yeah, but he turns up separately. He comes in on the bike, and the rest are in the limo. And people were going, yeah, it was like, oh, Twiggy's left the band. Oh, sorry, Twiggy. Joey Jordison is in the video, isn't he? He's in the hot tub. Is that right?
I think he's in the hot tub. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Trent Reznor's in the limo, I think. And maybe I'm getting the videos mixed up. I don't know.
Sorry, you said Joey Jordison, and I went Geordie, and then I went Twiggy. Oh. So it's tomorrow now where I am at, so fuck it, it's fine. Tainted Love cover. I'm actually a big fan of the Soft Cell cover, which is, the Manson version is essentially a cover of a cover. It's very much the Soft Cell version with a slightly angrier guitar and vocal, but that's cool. And that was, I think the first thing that Tim Skold did with the band and brought that electric edge. So that's how I was kind of aware of Brian. And then I don't remember Golden Age coming out and buying it, but I remember, like, I was watching a lot of music TV at the time, stuff like Kerrang, which is like I don't think you do have it in America, but it's like our kind of rock channel. Yeah. Rock!
Yeah, we have Kerrang. We have Kerrang magazine, but we never had a channel.
Yeah, you had a channel over here, and a radio. A radio channel, but I remember, like, the Mob Scene video coming out and all of that on heavy rotation, and the new shit and stuff. So, like, I remember that, and then, like, that sort of when I was getting more and more interested in music, sort of 11, 12, I was really starting to go off listening to my parents' Beatles records and more trying to explore. And I bought Mechanical Animals, which is a odd choice for the first Manson record. As I said in the previous episode, everyone said, don't start with Mechanical Animals, and me being an obnoxious little teenager was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go with it. I just really like the imagery, the very kind of androgynous kind of thing.
It's still fucked up to look at. It's fucking
man.
weird.
I mean, that was a huge billboard in, like, Times Square, right? Like, they, the studio
so
threw
weird,
big ass money at that. And I thought it was really cool, and loved it. And then kind of I went backwards, and I used to, get my allowance. And there's a place called Music Zone, which used to sell, like, CDs kind of cheap. It was like, a tenner, 10 quids, Jeff, for a CD or whatever.
Making up words here.
I don't know what a fucking
Spondulix. What's the fucking quid? Hey, what's the fucking quid? And I kind of started getting his discography. I think I got Portrait and Antichrist, the record of the week, around the same time. So yeah, that was my intro to Brian and the Marilyn Mansons. From a cover to his actual stuff, and I dove straight in, man. I became obsessive for a good few years. Like, they were like my next band after, like, Nirvana was like my first, like, oh my god, I love this band. And then it was Brian and mainly Twiggy, man. I learned to play bass to Marilyn Manson because it's so, I mean, we'll get onto it, I'm sure, but, like, it's so in the mix, and great stuff.
All right, my origin story real quick. It like you guys, it started with Mechanical Animals. I hated it. I didn't listen to the record. I remember seeing the Dope Show video on MTV, early '98. It was probably right after it came out, actually. And I just started watching MTV, just started watching The Real World and all the crap on MTV, and the Dope Show video came on, and I hated it. I thought it was weird and gross, because at the time I was listening to a lot of Green Day and Offspring and shit like that. and that comes on. I didn't get it, and I still don't get it because I don't think it's a very good song. And then I just kind of forgot about the band, and then Hollywood came out, and that was the first time I heard Manson, a whole Manson record, because friend of the pod Jessica, who we dated in high school, she got the burned copy of that, and she burned it for me as well. And that was the first time I'd ever heard a record in its entirety of his, and I really liked it, but it still wasn't my thing, especially to get me to want to go to listen to more. So prior to this last couple weeks, I had only ever heard one other Manson record in its entirety, and that was Antichrist, and the album of the week. So
Wow.
this is all very new to me, and I've only ever liked a handful of Manson songs, because like I picking and choosing off of Antichrist and the Golden Age of Grotesque and Hollywood and stuff. I've only liked a small handful of stuff, but yeah, that's my origin story, and I'm almost just as new to this as you, Jeff. So really, Skip is like the expert, the Manson expert, and you and I are we're trying our best. We're staying afloat, trying our best.
Most of his albums sound the same, so we are actually now experts because it's all the same thing. So that's fine.
Yeah.
There's some truth to that. Okay, so let's just jump right into Antichrist Superstar, second record, like I said. And what we're going to do is, because this is a concept record, it's part of a 3-album concept, but we're just going to be focusing on this one, obviously. So we're going to go in order of the track list. So we're going to start with Irresponsible Hate Anthem and then go through it all. But we're probably going to talk about some songs very shortly because some of them are just not that great. So let's go with Irresponsible Hate Anthem. What do we got on this one, musically, lyrically? Where do we want to start? Go.
You're directing here. If you're not going to direct,
I am directing,
it's
but
gonna be mayhem.
I thought we already set up the pecking order here.
Okay,
So
I just wanted to make sure.
so
all I wanted to do.
I'm the English
feel like
sandwich in your American. Yeah.
I feel like
I'm the
it's a
English
good-
meat
it's a
in your
good-
American sandwich. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's a good pecking order because Jeff and I are new to it, and you're in the middle, Skip. So because you have more knowledge of this than we do, so I feel like it's a good order to go in. So,
Okay. Yeah, so
we'll start
let's,
with
so like there's three different parts to this album, right? There's the cycle. The first part of the cycle is the Hierophant. And the second part of the cycle is inauguration of the worm, and then the third cycle later on is disintegrator rising. It's stupid,
Yeah.
but okay. Yeah, so Irresponsible Hate Anthem is the first track, and this is my 1B. This is my favorite song.
Really? Wow. Oh,
Fuck me. This was
color me surprised.
like literally because it starts like
Literally.
30 literally. I can't stop doing it. The first like 25 seconds of this is just kind of like nothing. It's just an intro. And as soon as that heavy part came in, I immediately playlisted. I said, I don't even care what happens after this, because it drops so hard and so aggressive. I'm going to playlist this, and I love this song. And everything is super tight. That beat and the bass, like they drives along, and this makes a super super dope song. I love the bass sound, and this may be like one of the most aggressive songs like they've done. And it breaks down and then chugs along and adds some synth sounds and I don't know, like on the crash cymbals to add a lot of like industrial kind of thing going on. But overall, it's chaotic and angry. I love this song. It's fantastic.
I agree with you, man. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
It's killer. What does this sit for you as a banger, Skip?
So I mean, there's I'm just gonna say it. There's no stinkers for me on this album. There's some good to okay songs. This is a banger, obviously.
Oof.
I've got a lot of bangers. This is actually my 9B, but that in no way reflects on it being a bad song. I've just got a lot of bangers, man. Like this album went, oh man, it goes hard. It goes hard for me. There's some such cool shit on this record.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, so what about this song in particular? Is it just kind of the heaviness? Because that's what I like about this song so much is how it sets up this album so well with its heaviness and
it does. I mean, obviously, like we'll I'm sure we'll get more into Trent Reznor's like fingers all over this record, like literally in places. The sound instantly it's a huge departure from Portrait. You're like, okay, this is taking itself a lot more seriously. That like open with the crowd, we hate love, we love hate, again, sloganeering from the off. It's basically a free note punk song, man. It's fucking comes in hard. I used to jam this hard on my bass. It's heavy. I love the fact that essentially the chorus, someone else's ninja part,
Yeah.
it just basically slows it, and there's this swing to it. It's not quite off. It's really tight though, and there is a swing. It's that heavy metal swing that's runs all throughout Sabbath as well. The reason Sabbath are so good, and the reason this song works, is it's straight up, and then it kind of swings, and there's a real human groove to it. Even though there's a lot of electronic across this album, this song in particular, that bit is just the duh. I was like, and still to this day, I would have this grin on my face, and it came on, and I was just like, yeah, I wasn't born with enough middle fingers. That is so rock and roll,
It really
it's
is.
just, it's the
so
most
cheesy, though.
It is very
that's
cheesy.
what rock and roll is, man. You imagine, it's 1996, and your 10-year-old has bought this record, and sat in a room, and you hear that coming through. He's just dropped Ninja, and then rhymes it with "I wasn't born with enough middle."
Yeah.
This is America in 1996, man. What a way to start off a record. It's called Irresponsible Hate Anthem.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant. Yeah, everything about this album was designed to fuck people off and for kids to gush over. For the weirdos. He's a genius marketeer, man. Yeah. No,
I agree.
it's
I totally agree with you on that. He did an absolute amazing job marketing his image, and I mean,
yeah.
to offend everybody in Middle America, especially in the Bible Belt, and I mean, I guess just parents in general, because I mean, my mom hated this shit too. I mean, she still thinks he's this massive Satan worshiper, and
in
it's so
2000
stupid.
in 2007, I had to get permission off my then girlfriend's mom to take her to go see Marilyn Manson. Even in 2007, parents were still just like, what the fuck?
Because all they think of is this image from the 90s where, because he's wearing all the makeup, he's cutting himself, there's blood, I mean, from an outsider's perspective, when you don't know anything about metal music, it does look frightening. But if you've already been in the metal scene, you've been embedded in it, his image is stupid. It really
I mean,
is.
I wouldn't call him metal. To me, he's a great rock and roll artist.
Yeah.
He goes on about how much he loves Kiss and stuff, and you can really see, rock and roll from the 50s. It pissed off parents. Then all he's doing is updating it. He's worked out, cool. How do I piss off parents now? How do I up the shock factor? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of image. He was a nerd, man. He was a D&D playing little nerd with big ears. He went to watered down Catholic school and had the shit kicked out of him, and was also one of the smartest guys in the room, and he sat and worked it out. Great
absolutely
stuff. Yeah.
So I mean, with me on this song, the part that I love so much is the part where he just is screaming "fuck it." It's just so abrasive and just so
good.
It's just offensive in its simplicity, and I absolutely love that part so much. It's so stupid, but I love it. I love it to death, and I agree with you wholeheartedly on how swingy that chorus sounds. It's one of the best parts of the whole thing, and just the guitar tone overall on this song is so thick, and it's like a nice wall of just sound. It's fantastic. I love this song so much. So,
What
and then
B is this for you on this one though?
Oh, this is my 3B.
Oof.
Yeah,
Ooh.
my 3B. This is such a great way to start off the record. And this is one of the few records that, or well, not records, but one of the few songs, one of the few songs that Twiggy doesn't have a writing credit on, which is surprising. It's very surprising. But
Yeah.
whatever. What are you going to do?
Besides the name, I just don't understand the mass appeal to Twiggy. There's not just here today, but there's just so many articles written and just everything else about how great Twiggy was, and how before he kind of got canceled, but before how great he was, how amazing he was. What am I missing here?
See,
Well, back in the day, they had a really good relationship with their early fan base because they toured for years. I think so. And Twiggy was almost like a co-frontman, in the early days before Brian became fully Marilyn Manson, and those guys were like bros, weren't they? They were so
yeah, they
tight.
were very, very tight. And I only know this listening to the podcast that he did. Like the only reason I ever started listening to that podcast with Jordy and Fred Sablon, who was also in Manson, the only reason I listened was because Josh Freese was on it, like on one episode. And I'm like, oh, I love Josh Freese, so I listened to it. And then for whatever reason, I became like addicted to that podcast until Twiggy got canceled, and then they stopped doing the pod. But listening to him on that, like he just seems like a genuinely nice guy, but like very socially awkward too. And he absolutely loves Star Wars, and he just likes a lot of the same shit that we like. So I don't know.
He's a total nerd.
He just seems like a really genuine dude. Maybe I don't know how he was in the '90s, but this is based off.
No, I mean there was a great story. I remember. It might have been my friend who knew Scott told me this was years and years before they were big. This like before Antichrist came out, and the people were like, they had hardcore fans following them around on tour, and they kind of met afterwards, and they were saying, "Oh, I won't be at the next gig. I can't afford the gas money, whatever." And then Twiggy gave them a hug, and then like he found in his pocket, or they found in their pocket afterwards, like Twiggy had slipped gas money into his or into their, it might be a girl, into their pocket so they could come to the next show and stuff. He was like. Apparently, they had a really cool relationship, and he's a nerd, and he's always come, when he got cancelled and stuff, he came out and he did kind of deal with it, I think in quite a mature way, and he was just like, I'm going to go away for a while, and he's been sober for years.
Yeah, because he almost died. He almost died in 2010.
You look how he looks now compared to how Brian looks. Fuck me, do you know what I mean? Like Jordy, he's looked after himself. He's he looks healthy, and I kind of like his kind of hippie sort of look that he's got going these days. He's hung out with Josh Homme and stuff, and he did the Desert Rock thing, and he's got Goon Moon with the Masters of Reality guys, Chris Goss. He's a cool guy. He's just a nerd who had a great look. The whole Kinderhore thing with the dresses and the dreads, and a great bass tone, which we will get into.
Yeah.
So it's not it's not so much about him reinventing the wheel here. It's just about people jamming with him, people hanging out with him, because he was kind of like a jack of all trades in regards to music and hanging out with people.
And kind of what I gathered from the podcast too is that everybody has always been so positive about what they say about him. Everybody says that he's such a nice guy, a humble person, and I think his songwriting is really good. And
I mean, I think his songwriting is good also, but I mean, it's not like historic. He's not going in the Hall of Fame here, but the way people talk about him online is it's insane how much support he has. Still,
yeah, I know.
Today,
he really does. Yeah, a lot of people took his side too when he got canceled. They took his side and just, I don't know. It's interesting to say the least. But I think his songwriting is really good. I mean, I think what he did on this record and what he did on Hollywood, I thought was absolutely fantastic, and a lot of the high end of Low as well. I think he can write really good songs. So I don't know. That's my take on it. And
tones. He's a guitarist first as well. He's always said he joined Manson on bass, but before he was in his other bands as a guitar player. Mm-hmm. And I think it's one of the reasons why his bass lines are so driving and kind of melodic and simple is he's thinking that they're doing the Mark thing of being a rhythm guitar.
Yeah,
it's cool. Very different tones to Mark, but yeah.
I get it.
Okay.
All right, so let's let's get into the lyrics. Let's start with the lyrics on this song because we got quite a bit to talk about on this entire kind of concept album and theme. So what do we have on this one?
I mean, do you want to just give an overview of the story of what this album and then the the two after it are supposed to be? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, let's give an overview. That's fine. I probably wouldn't be good at giving an overview, so I don't know if one of you guys want to take over on that. I just feel like I'd stumble through it. So yeah, one of you guys do an overview of it, and then we'll kind of break it down from there.
I mean, I will give just a quick overview of what I think it is, and then Skip can demolish it or support it. But
sweet.
It's so on the surface, it's about a worm, right? A being that rises to power and tries to take over the world because nobody liked him to begin with or something, and eventually got into politics to betray the human race and fuck him over at the end because no one accepted him to begin with. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sort of, yeah, like the boy slash the worm is like, yeah, and then the thing grows inside him, and it kind of takes him over. It's just I noticed this transformation of the boy from he's consumed, and from the worm, he becomes the Antichrist Superstar, and that's it, and yeah, takes over, and becomes the man that you fear, as it were. So it's like the evolution of this, all the kind of satanic and devilish side of our nature, I guess, is like kind of manifested in this like kind of symbiote relationship, that he wouldn't be able to take over the world if he didn't have this inside him, but he also hates it. There is. Yeah, it's been a long time since I went back and read about the concept, so it was kind of fun dipping into it again. I will say, actually, as a concept album, you can kind of get the story from this, which a lot of concept albums you can't,
What do you mean?
Like The Wall.
Well,
you
like,
listen to The Wall the first time,
okay.
you don't understand what the story is. You have to read into it. He's right, though. With this one, you can hear the progression and just not just the lyrics, but the music. Like you can hear a story being told.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, there's some amazing segues. This album, the segues from song to song, some beautiful stuff. We'll get to some of my favorites. I mean, the one from Irresponsible into The Beautiful People. It's a great little segue.
Yeah.
There's loads of so that's my sort of a brief overview, I guess, of the. And then, like, the rest of the triptych, kind of, like, you've got the Alpha and Omega and Mechanical Animals, which is, he goes off and becomes a rock star. And in fact, the vinyl version splits the songs differently. So you've got all the Omega and the Mechanical Animals band tracks on one, and then all the, like, his inner voice on the other, the more human side. So it kind of took the concept a little bit further. And then Hollywood is sort of the overview, I believe, of the whole thing. The beginning, the middle, and it ends, with the fall of Adam and stuff. And yeah, it's like different viewpoints of the same kind of story, which is kind of cool. A bit like The Wire, as a TV show. Did you guys ever watch The Wire? If you haven't, you should. It's an excellent show.
I think Jeff did.
Yeah, I watched like the first 4 episodes, and it's really, really good. And it's something I've been wanting to go back to, but I'm fucking surprised that like you maybe have watched it. Is that like a big thing over there? Isn't that like a?
Yeah. I mean, I know it's an American one, but it's critically lauded, obviously. I mean, it's got Idris Elba in it. He's a British actor.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. But no, I mean, the thing with The Wire is you just got to pay attention, all the way through. Otherwise, you can't just stick it on at the end of the day and be like, oh, I'm just going to relax and watch The Wire.
But it's like
it doesn't make sense.
East Coast like policing. Like it's from Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
Like
one of the guys with Method Man? Like he's, but Idris Elba is playing one of his boys. Idris Elba is like, one of the main characters in the early seasons, man. Like he's playing an American, but he's a British actor. He's Luther. Yeah. Don't know how we got from Marilyn Manson to The Wire, but here we are.
It's quite the jump. Quite the fucking jump.
We did it. Asinine Radio, only here.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Okay, so we kind of have the overall theme here. So kind of where does this song fit with that theme? What do we got on this one?
This was just an opening thesis statement, right? A blend of kind of making fun of the common American values and how shitty those values are, while also kind of making fun of how scary Americans thought Manson was at the time, and come to find out, like Manson was just a little kitty with a wolf costume on this entire time. And I don't know, it's kind of cool. Like to get a little further, his like little subtle pokes at Christian values. Like, do Christians love, or do they just hate? Like the hate that Manson mentions, because do Christians actually love things, or do they hate things? And so it makes you think that they love. Like Christians love to hate certain aspects of society or values, and that's not even like a love concept. That's just you're just hating at that point. And even further, right? Like just because you love something, does that mean that you automatically hate the other things? Is love the opposite of hate? And in shicey lawyer terms, the opposite of love would just be not love. But like in kind of conventional Christian upbringings, the opposite of love would be hate. So if you love this thing, do you automatically hate something else? I think these are just concepts and arguments that Manson is putting forward and just making us think about. And I dig. That's what I got.
Yeah, man. Definitely. I mean, I love the lyric, let's just kill everyone and let your God sort them out. Not God, your God. Yeah, obviously.
I put that exact same thing in my notes, too. I said I love the line I love that line, too. I put, let's just kill everyone and let your God sort them out. It's so
and the way he
simple.
delivers it as well, when he's just like screaming it into the microphone, and then into the fuck it, it's just great. And it is just sort of like, fuck you, like, cool, like, yeah, you want to hate everything? Wicked. Burn it all. Start again. You can fucking sort it out. I don't give a shit, It
is fantastic. So, I mean, what I have on this one, I mean, I agree with you, Jeff. It's like the hypocrisy of religion and how they teach you love, but it's really just, it's just the opposite of that. Like, it's just straight up about how they just hate everything. And they're just trying to find, like, it's just about truly unhappy people, but then they try to mask it with their religion. They try to be positive with their religion, but they're just miserable people, and it talks about the hypocrisy of that. And it's a great thesis statement for the rest of the record lyrically. So
I mean, also like one last thing on it, like it's the use of the N word. It's in the old days, that was used to describe slaves. And he's saying everyone is someone else's slave. You're a slave to your beliefs. I know you are. But so am I. He's like, we're trapped in this system. I'm going to tear it down. It's so again, a piece of the record that he's going to become this creature that's going to just literally burn it all down. So yeah.
And that's not like the first time somebody outside of the race has dropped like the N-bomb in a way to make everybody realize that the world sucks, right? Like Lenin, right? The woman is the ninja of the world. So it's been done before. And Manson, again, I think, even though it's highly risque, it's kind of done in like a tactful way. It's done in not a divisive way, but a way to kind of unite everybody to pinpoint like the real problems of what makes everybody the ninja of the world. And it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, he was, I say, always one of the smartest guys in the room. You watch interviews from the 90s to the 2000s, before he just kind of got fucked up and passed it, man. He would, Letterman developed a real respect for him, and that's why he had him on so many times, because he used to actually enjoy interviewing him, because he was like, you watch them through the ages, and the first one, he's kind of like trying to set him up and being like, you're a fucking joke. And then by the end of it, he's like leading, engaging questions, because he's like, oh shit, his performance in Bowling for Columbine, super good. I would have listened. I wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah. That's a great response.
Entire film.
Yeah, that was such a great response to that. It's just like, you can't even go further with that. You can't even question him on that. It's like, wow, that's, I don't want to say profound, but that was a great comeback. That was a really great comeback.
Yeah, smart guy. Smart guy.
All right, so are we good with Irresponsible Hate Anthem, or should we move on?
Good with it, baby.
We got quite a bit ahead of us, so. Okay.
16 more tracks.
I mean, like I said, we're not going to spend a lot of time on some of these, so people listening, we're not going. This isn't going to be like a 5-hour episode or some shit.
25 minutes devoted to Crypt Orchid, obviously.
All right. Beautiful People is the next one here. Just to throw this out there, this is my 1B. This is the best song on the record. I don't care what you say. I don't care if it's the most popular. It is the best song on the record, without a doubt. So, what are our thoughts on this one? What do you got?
This is my 2B.
There you go.
I don't care.
Perfect.
This was a really fun transition going into this one, but this intro reminded me a lot of the Disturbed song, that Down with the Sickness, that that build up. It was very, very similar, but I don't know, the guitars are so heavy, they're so aggressive. I like his lower voice too. It's kind of like some like PM5K stuff. Like, it's just fun. It's fun. He's not taking himself way too seriously. He's still not quite yelling here, but he's being like very aggressive with his vocals, and it could pass as a yell, even though it's not like a yell. And I like the soundscape from this one, like we talked about earlier. You guys talked about earlier. There's a lot of like cool soundscape that he uses to kind of help keep like the uneasy feeling, but still drive the beat along. And like towards the end, it's just there's just like this kind of like high pitched synth noise, and it's weird, and it makes me feel weird, and I don't like it, but I like that I don't like it. And Beautiful People, to be baby.
That is great. It's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's my 4B.
Okay.
I think slightly just because I've overplayed it for myself, so maybe it not downplay it. I mean, it's the song people think of with Marilyn Manson. I think he still ends his concerts with it. It's fucking great. I mean, he's rewritten it every album since, basically. Disposable Teens is basically The Beautiful People and so on. This has obviously got the great chicka. It's got the Manson chickas.
So good.
Great chickas.
And I like, those heavy toms, man. Again, it's super glam rock. I don't ever think, even over here, he gets stuck in the metal section, and I think it's a mistake to call Marilyn Manson metal. I do think he's hard rock, really, just masquerading with, Trent Reznor production. I mean, I agree a lot with Jeff. The vocal, it's great. Again, like it's hammed up. It's camp almost. It's theater performance. He's doing how people. It's very silly. But he's got a big range. He's just not a good singer. The horrible synth. I know exactly the bit you mean, and it is. It's like on the back of your neck. It's not nice. I love it.
I love that. I hate it.
It's that attention to detail that obviously that's Trent and Pogo, Madonna, Wayne Gacy. I think Trent's production on this is great. I don't think they had a ton of money really. Like you can hear the amps aren't that big and stuff, like what they're recording with, but like the sounds they got, like
the soundscapes are really great in this one. A lot of people don't talk about it, but they're fucking great.
Yeah, and again, it's super bass driven. That riff, and again the swing is that. It's so good. And obviously, Twiggy uses Gibson basses. Lots of use of Thunderbirds. We've got those Mudbuckers, so they're super bassy. Like there's no top end to them. And he's just like EQ'd like that to extreme shows. So there's no clank on the strings and stuff. He never uses it as a pick. It's really growly and really muddy, and it works so well. It's like the opposite of how I have my bass tone, to be honest. Because I use Ricks and jazz basses, and he's using these like solid Gibson T-Birds. There's so much bass going on.
Those are big
huge cabs as well. And like it's just it's huge, man. Like I remember Juan was saying when he joined, he was like he couldn't get anything to sound right, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to like just try Twiggy's rig?" And he was like, "Fuck me!" Like I almost blew up the stage. He was like, "Man, that setup is bassy." And a distortion across the bass on this album. Like I think there's only one track where it isn't distorted, and it's just great. It's so much at the soul of the album. Another reason I think people love Twiggy, even though he plays all over this album really, but. Yeah, I mean, that's about it for music, I think. It's just, it's so glammy, it's so driven, it's got chickas, it's got bass to the face, it's got a ridiculously hammy vocal, and it's catchy as fuck.
Yeah, it really is. And one thing neither of you guys mentioned, which is such a unique part of the song, is that gospel chorus, the ahs. You know what I'm talking about? The really high ahs. Like, I can't even try to do it, but... Yeah, neither of you guys brought that up, and it's just so iconic. I feel like to his music and to his career, I love that part of it, and it just comes out of nowhere. It's almost like it's off time too. Like there's that pause, and then it hits. Like that sample. I think it's probably just a sample, but that hits, and it's just so effective. Oh, I love that. I think that's one of the coolest parts of the songs. And I don't know. But yeah, like you were saying, Skip, his bass playing just absolutely shines on the song, especially during that pre-chorus part right before, like, especially the bridge right there. Like, it comes through so nice. I love it. I think this song is absolutely amazing. That's why it's my one.
Iconic.
It truly is iconic. So I'll play a little bit of the Beautiful People, we'll get into the lyrics, and then jump into the next song. So here's Beautiful People from the Marilyn Mansons. There you go. A bit of the Beautiful People from Marilyn Manson. All right, so let's jump into the lyrics real quick, unless any of us have anything to say more about the music. But let's jump into the lyrics. So what do we got on this?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, good. No, go for it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the order.
Okay, you got it, bud. This is. I thought this was like pointing out at how society is like divided into classes. Here we have the beautiful people, or the haves opposed to the have-nots, the proletariats and the bourgeoisie. Very Marxist philosophy, but it is also very, very undermined and kind of taboo thing to talk about that whole concept. But everything kind of just makes fun of like everyone kind of makes fun of communism and fears it because it's something different than our own American way of life. And I thought he was just, playing with that kind of fear of how if somebody's communist, you automatically think that they're crazy or they're anti-American or they're anti-world population. And I don't know, it's just a fun topic.
Yeah, it's something that you can definitely go down a rabbit hole with somebody in and argue quite a bit about.
But like in theory, it's just it's a very it could work and it could be fantastic. It could be great. But
in theory, in theory, yeah.
But anyway, like the beautiful people
just
just isn't relegated to actually physically attractive people, but people in power or people who've chose the right religion to belong to. When he mentions steeple, like, I think it's a direct shot at religion and alluding to like you better choose the right one type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Definitely.
it's fun. I get it.
But I agree with a lot of what you said on that one too, lyrically.
Yeah, definitely. I think also it's like about it's a theme that's recurrent in his music, especially for the Triptych records. It's like the hypocrisy of Christian America. Essentially, you can't see the forest for the trees, and you can't even smell your own shit on your knees. On your knees, obviously it's praying, and he's saying, you guys are so, it's a theme that's brought up more in Hollywood, but the whole guns, God, government bullshit. He's like, you guys, you got about how much you love your God, and you're so close fucking minded. I think that's there's the theme of hypocrisy in this. Kind of like the little Beatles reference, obviously, with the beautiful people. How does it feel to be one of the beautiful? Which is how he always introduces the song live as well. Which is cool. Again, obviously, the Beatles, huge part of America's pop culture. You guys went crazy for that English shit. Apart from you guys, Tyler and Jeff. Oh, the Beach Boys are better than the Beatles.
I don't say that. I've never.
I know. That's a Jeff. That's a Jeffism.
That's definitely a Jeff thing. That's something stupid he says.
It's not just a Jeffism.
Okay.
It's 100% correct. It's not just a Jeffism.
Sure. That's cool. We'll call it a culture difference. But hypocrisy of Christian America. I agree a lot with what Jeff's saying. Obviously the old-fashioned fascism will take it away. Kind of there. It's a little poke at politics and the division of politics and the tribalism as well. You've got those tribal drums. If we're going to really hammer a metaphor home.
Yeah.
That'd be my addition to Jeff's paragraphs.
And I think the only thing could really add to this is I think at this point, because like we talked about, it's set up in 3 parts. He's like world building. Like at this point in these first 2 songs, he's not talking about anybody specific. He's not even talking about himself. He's just he's setting up the world for us to, as he sees it, or as the story goes. And then after this, then we start to develop his character more, the Antichrist character more. So I like the world building in this. I really like how he sets it up in this, and then it goes into more of his growing up, and then so on and so forth, which we'll get into. So, do we have anything else on Beautiful People?
No.
Good.
I'm
good. We're good.
All right, so let's get into.
Banger.
Let's get it. It absolutely is. So the next song is "Dried Up, Tied Up, and Dead to the World." So this is not a banger for me. It's a good song, but not
a banger for me.
Yeah.
It's a banger for me. It's my 6B.
Oof.
Okay. Wow.
All right. So what do we got musically on this one?
This is like a Nine Inch Nails song. Honestly, this reminds me of Closer. Like it's like obviously
That's
without
exactly
being
what I put too. That's exactly what I put.
Dude, it's just
I also have. It sounds like a Nine Inch Nails song.
God
That's probably
damn,
why I like it.
I'm not a big Nine Inch Nails guy, but like I still think this sounds exactly like a fucking Nine Inch Nails song, and I still enjoy this song pretty well though. It's got that sort of like calm before the drop sound, but like Manson brings the heat here vocally, and probably my favorite vocals that he's done is on this one. He's trying hard to scream, but not scream so that like his rasp is coming out inaudible. I've no idea what he's saying here. And it's just like nails on a chalkboard type singing, but I love it.
Yeah.
But overall the song is okay. Like I like his vocal delivery, I like what he's doing, but it sounds too much like Nine Inch Nails, and overall the song is okay. It's all right.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. What do you got on this? Did you put the Closer thing too, like we did?
Well, I put 9 Inch Nails. I didn't actually reference Closer, but yeah, I mean, this seems a great time, I suppose, to get into the Trent Reznor thing. He's recorded at the Rebuilt Pig Studios in New Orleans. These guys had hung out, they'd known each other for years. He kind of tried to fix Portrait for Brian, and kind of had a go at reproducing it. And then this is like, this is the big work together one before their relationship went very south.
Very
to the point where Trent lost the masters for this, which is why it's never been reissued. He basically got rid of the masters. That's why it's incredibly expensive to buy on vinyls.
Is that really why it's so expensive?
Yep. He
shit.
lost the masters. Yeah. When they had a fallout, which is
What
such
a petty
shitty
shit.
thing to
Fucking
do.
Todd, what an asshole.
Oh man, I mean, cocaine is a hell of a drug, man.
Wow.
And that's the thing. Like, there was a lot of cocaine on this record. Yeah, but I actually see this whole album as like a companion to the Downward Spiral. They're opposites in terms of like the Downward Spiral is obviously like, well, not obviously, if you don't know, it's about heroin addiction and a literal downward spiral of a person, and like a kind of treatise into the depths of despair. Whilst this is actually like the rise of this Antichrist character, but sonically. They're incredibly similar, which is it's pure Trent. And one of the reasons I love this album so much is, I really like Trent's production on this. Like it's of its time, but it's so claustrophobic to say like you can how the amps aren't massive. It's not recorded like a rock album, like the way Mechanical Animals was recorded with huge amps and big studios. This was recorded using kind of gear they had hanging around, and a lot of cocaine. But like, I think this musically, I like this song. It goes places. The guitars are super interesting. There's the soft guitars, in kind of the bridge, with the what-ohs kind of come up before the big choruses, I'll be your lover and all of that. It's the start of the story, as you say, which that's kind of more lyrics. But musically, I think it's also the time the guitars are like EQ'd more like traditional, like heavy guitars. Like when we get onto, I think the next track, I'll talk more about them because I've got some specific notes on that. But a lot of the time the guitars are kind of EQ'd for there's not that much attack. But at the end of this bit, you've got the jun 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 bit, which is like, that's proper heavy. That is very 9 Inch Nails. I think this song, it goes places musically. Like there is like, a solid beginning, middle, and an end, which is just, I think it's cool. I think, again, the performances are solid. Live, Manson plays guitar for this, which is cool.
Weird.
Just because there's so much more guitars going on.
Yeah.
So musically, that's what I like the way it does build. And it goes places, and there's definite like sections, which is cool. I understand why it's not a banger for you guys. It's lower down on my B's, but I really like this song. I'd forgotten it existed, to be honest, and then it came on, and I was like, oh yeah, and like the soundscapes and the synths, like again, they're kind of unsettling, and it's just yeah, it's the start of the journey.
Yeah.
It's the start of the journey.
They really did a really good job on this one as well with the sound effects and the soundscapes and then it's kind of the opposite of that happens when you hit that chorus because it's like a huge wall of guitars. It just comes in really just loud. I don't want to necessarily say heavy, but just fucking loud. And then Manson has some good screaming moments too throughout the song. And I know Jeff doesn't necessarily agree with it, like him being heavy, but at this point in his career, he did have some heavy moments. Not a lot, but when it hits pretty hard. So there's some good screaming on this stuff too, on this particular song. But
this is my favorite vocal performance of Manson, possibly of all the albums. Like this song right here. I just don't like the music. Mm-hmm. Like I like the way he delivers the words, and I like what he's doing with his vocals. But the music is fucking Nine Inch Nails is annoying. I
know that it really. I couldn't believe how much Nine Inch Nails was in this particular song.
It's disgusting. And then Trent Reznor, like even like reading about it too, and Trent Reznor is playing instruments on this record. Like, get the fuck out of here! Come on,
he's pulling a John Feldman on this one.
Yes.
See, I really like it. I really like the Trent's delivery, but yeah, I love
you
Trent.
Like Nine Inch Nails. I mean, you really like that band and Trent in general, but I personally, I'm just not a Nine Inch Nails guy. I just, it's not for me.
Oh, absolutely cool, man. I understand why. Obviously, it gives a very different view, and like I see what you're saying, and be like, a producer coming in and playing all over records. I think it happens more than bands let on, to be honest. But like, I think at least they were very open on this record. They're like, Trent was all over it, literally playing guitar on tracks.
Playing the Mellotron on other fucking tracks. Like, dude, just sit the fuck down. Chill. But I do like what you said about this being like a companion piece to the Downward Spiral. And if I ever have like 3 hours to kill and like literally nothing else to do, I would.
Oh my god!
I would be interested in listening to the Downward Spiral and this one like back to back to see.
Man, you would be so depressed afterwards.
Wait, but Jeff, you did
angered.
listen to Downward. Didn't you listen to? Didn't you listen to Downward Spiral?
Wow, we're just
because Justin wanted you to.
Yes, well, that wasn't like I just did. It was like 6 months to a year ago.
No. I said Justin wanted you to do it.
Yeah,
and you said you ended up liking Downward. You ended up liking that. I can't even.
No, it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be for sure. But now that I'm a Marilyn Manson man here, maybe I'll enjoy it a little bit more.
Maybe. All right. Should we play a little bit of the song and do lyrics, or what do we want to do? Do we want to play every song?
I mean, what
do you guys think?
There's a lot of songs here.
I mean, if this one isn't a banger for you guys, I'm happy to just get into the lyrics and keep pushing forward because it is a long record.
This is a Saturday afternoon, and I have nothing to do tonight except this and drink. So it's how long you guys want to be here.
It's also a Saturday night for Skip. It's like 1 a.m. where you are. So
it's 20 past 1, but it's cool, man. So I'm nice and awake. I've got plenty of coffee, and I've napped the day away. So don't worry, like. We go as long as we go, man. And he's talking about an album that I love, so it's all cool.
All right.
But if it's not a banger for you guys, then I'm happy to let democracy stand and, and go.
How about unless the song? How about if the song is a banger for all three of us, then we'll play it.
Okay.
That sound good?
Sweet.
Unless one of us really wants us to play something, then we'll do it. We can override that. It's not like a rule set in stone, but that'll be the general rule. That sounds good to me.
That works for me. Yeah, man.
This is a question that is completely off topic, but I was watching a video today about the Royal Guards scale.
Right.
Yeah. And how disrespectful people are to them. And like honestly, like I see them just as show. Like I see them just as a figure to stand outside.
They're pomp and ceremony, man. Yeah, for sure.
But they're actually highly trained, like infantrymen. Like they're very highly trained, right?
Yeah.
Like they'll fucking kill you if you push them. Like they will. And
oh man, yeah. I mean, like the British Army is like one of the smallest first world armies, but one of the most highly trained. Like our average soldiers, I think it's something like have basically the same amount of training as your guys Marines.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like we don't really have the kind of grunt level kind of soldier that you guys have, and like, yeah, the Royal Guards are like they're fully trained. Like, I mean, like, yeah, it's the whole like they're not allowed to like essentially react at all, isn't it? Like, I've been to Windsor Castle, so I've seen them and stuff, and like, yeah, I think it's more in films and stuff. You do see people like, you know, Austin Powers, and they're all making silly faces and taking photographs and that. And I mean, the uniform's fucking ridiculous, you know, and obviously a throwback to the olden days where, you know, the British Army uniform was red so that we wouldn't see the blood. That was the theory, and so that you could be proudly seen, you know.
What's the hat for? So you don't see the afro?
Yeah, sure. You know, they secretly love the funk. They all, the Queen loves Sly and the Family Stone.
But people are like highly disrespectful to them. Like people like
yeah, I've seen a lot of videos.
Damn near touch them and shit. It's
it's mad. Like it's tourism gone mental. And just people are assholes, man. Like, you know, it's mental.
Okay. I don't know. I was curious. I watched a 20-minute video today of people being complete douchebags, and then other people that are not Royal Guards, but kind of like, I don't know, the security guards for the Royal Guards. Like, hey, you know what you just did was very disrespectful. They are actually highly trained people that will fucking kill you if need be. Please step back. Please step back.
Yeah. Like, for your own safety, like, these guys are, highly trained, you know, killers, essentially, at the end of the day.
I thought like being a Royal Guard was just what you put the newbies on. Like, who wants to fucking stand around for all day? That's boring as shit. But they're highly trained infantrymen. Like,
no. Like, it's proper. Like, it's a big like mark of respect, I believe.
I think I would almost I would almost equate it to the what is it in Washington D.C. the grave of the fallen soldier. Like yeah. I think it's like I would equate it to that when it comes to like the amount of discipline and then even the amount of disrespect that people show. Because I've watched a lot of videos of that too, where people like will run through there and like they'll threaten to like they'll say like we're gonna use deadly force on you if you take one more step. Like, they don't fuck around.
I mean, I like to equate them to Palpatine's Royal Guard in the Star Wars. You know, they've got the red.
Damn! Look at you! Look at you over here equating your fucking Royal Guards to some of the deadliest assassins in the Star Wars universe. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some badass guys.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Except the ones that fought for Snoke. Those ones were bitches.
Yeah, they're not Royal Guard. They're bitches. Sequel bitches. It's a great fucking scene, though, isn't it? You know,
I love that.
The face.
That's a great scene. That's a great fight scene.
So good. What everyone's wanted to see forever. Lightsaber through the face.
That was the highlight of that movie. Like, there were very few good moments in that movie. That was like one of the only.
Oh yeah, you're a Last Jedi hater, aren't you?
Oh fuck dude, that's a terrible movie.
Mate, no, Rise of Skywalker's worse. I love how we've gone into Star Wars.
No.
It was inevitable. At some point in this podcast, we were going to go into Star Wars. It's not. It has to happen.
Like, I'm not saying the Last Jedi is amazing, but I'm saying the Rise of Skywalker is a pile of shit. Yeah. I strung together with MacGuffins, Mary Sue's, and little to no plot.
That's fine. That's fine with me. It's fine with me.
So you think the Rise of Skywalker's okay, but Dried Up, Tied Up, Dead the World's not a banger? What a world we live in. What a world we live in.
I know, right?
I thought I'd get it. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Bring it back. Lyrically, what do we have on this song? What do we got on this song?
There you go.
Jeff, go.
I thought this was like a perspective change here. So now we're seeing someone is asking questions, and he's starting to figure out what really drives the masses to act the way they do. So like Tyler said, in the world building of the first two songs, we're building a world now. Now we're asking questions of why the fuck is the world the way it is? Why are things happening the way they do? And that's what I thought Dried Up, Tied Up, and Dead to the World, which is a really cool name too. That's just a fucking awesome name for a song title. I love it.
I agree.
Yeah. It's a great song title. Yeah, I mean, lyrically, I think, as I say, like, it is it's where the story starts. Is it the third verse where he says, it's one of the best vocal bits, where he's like, you shove your hair down my throat, I feel your fingers in me. Tear this bitter fruit to mess, wrap it in your soiled dress. Now you must spit out the seeds. It's this. That's where literally the creature is entering him. It's like shoved down to his throat, and he can feel it inside him. Exactly agree with what you're saying, Jeff. It's looking at working. I will be your lover. I'll be forever. I'll be tomorrow. I'm anything when I'm high. It's this. Yeah, I'll be what you want me to be to take over. Don't you want some of this? So it's I think one of the reasons it's a banger for me is like this does literally set up the story. I just love the coda, man. All dried up, tied up forever, all fucked up and dead to the world. Yeah, as you say, it's a great song title. It's that sloganeering. He's so good, because across this album and on like his verses, there's a lot of words, there's a lot of imagery. They're not particularly catchy, but his choruses, they're just usually like one line repeated, simple, heavy guitars, boom. It sticks in your brain. And, yeah. That's my lyrical input for Dried Up, Tied Up, and Dead to the World. Which I think is why it's a banger. I think it's the lyrics and the fact that it's a Nine Inch Nails song, and it's the start of the story. As you say, like the world is built, and now this is the narrative. And we're going to begin with the character study.
Because I think Closer is about sex, right? I'm not entirely sure, but going by the chorus, it's about sex, much like this song is about a prostitute. And
it's
I mean,
subtle chorus.
I don't know. It's just
I fucking hate that song. I cannot stand that song. I fucking hate it so much. It's so fucking annoying. Oh.
And to me, this is just about kind of a prostitute and just how they're sacrificing a part of themselves for money, and I don't know. I feel like this is just more world building. This is just like talking about, I don't want to say the dregs of society, but just kind of like the negative parts of society, and just like the darker side of it all. And this is just him painting that picture more of that. And there's nothing positive about this record. It's just all like shit talking and just talking about how terrible the world and life is. So
it's not like a negative record, though. It's not like a doomsday type record. It's more of like, hey, dude, these are all the fucking things that are wrong with the earth.
Yeah, that's
now
true.
what?
That's true.
Like, now what? Balls in your core. I told you what's going on. What are we going to do? It's not like we are doomed. Fuck us. We're all going to hell. Dunzo. So yeah. It's cool.
Dude, there's like some guy in my neighborhood that's been riding a dirt bike for the last like hour. I don't know if you guys can hear it.
Golf cart kids?
He just like, no, it's not the golf cart kids. It's I don't know who this guy is. I've only seen him ride by my house once, but I can hear him like revving his engine up and down the streets. It's so
Bro,
fucking
it's
annoying.
Saturday night, baby. This is party
It's
night.
so fucking annoying, man.
I can't
kids
I can't
are
hear
partying on my porch. Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Damn. All right. Anyway, so this song, are we good with this song? Should we move on to the next, to Tourniquet?
Yeah, move on to Nocturnicate.
Right.
Nocturnicate, yeah.
Nocturnicate.
So, not the worst Mars Volta record.
It's not.
Not at all. This is my 7B.
The worst Mars Volta record. You're right.
Well, you're fucking stupid.
Smoking the silly stuff again. Drinking that silly juice.
Seriously, like when we talk about silly boy talk, that's like the worst of the silly boy talk.
Yeah.
Silly juice.
But like with a side of silly talk.
All right,
I'm drinking right now.
Nocturnicate is my 7 banger on this record. So where does this one sit? And let's get into the music. What do we got?
This is my 4B. I will say I'm not a fan of this intro. I think it's just cheesy 90s shit. I don't like the guitar riff. I think it's gross. But here I've noticed that I really like the drums. They haven't like hid the cymbals in any way. They're so constant. They're so high in the mix. They're so fucking annoying. It's just a constant barrage of cymbal hits of high end. It's rad. I love it. This is a cool song. Like when it quiets down and it's just the rhythm section and Manson, fucking dope. Absolutely dope.
Yeah.
You can hear Twiggy or whoever it is writing the music at this point, I guess, just relaxing and just making feedback noises and it's absolutely amazing. It's just a very nice calm. It's a very nice groove, and I love it. But that intro, I think it's super stupid for the books.
Oh, like with the reversed vocal whispering and shit.
Yeah, it's stupid as fuck.
Yeah,
Dumb.
that's corny. That's corny.
Fine.
shit.
It's fine.
It's
It's
dumb.
fine.
It's
It is.
It's
No,
fine.
I almost did a podcast. No. Almost said it.
Wait.
It is
no,
what
no.
it is, baby.
Well,
Oh, that one. Oh,
there it
yeah.
is.
No. We don't do that.
No. Oh God. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
No, Tourniquet though. It's a banger for me. It's my 8B.
Okay.
Because I got a lot of Bs. It's great. Love the bass and drums, as Jeff said. Really strong. It's a really cool kind of bass line. Again, it's just driving, and I keep saying it because it's true. Pretty much every song, like great bass line. And yeah, the cymbal splashes, man. They're just, it's really interesting production on this. I mean, across the album, but on this song, yeah. I mean, something I already noticed is, and it ties into the lyrics, is like, when I talk about those guitars, they're really fuzzed out, especially on this track, and like with the swells and stuff, and they've been EQ'd to say so. There's no attack on it. No, you can't hear the strings being hit with a pick at all. It's just like swells, and it's interesting because it's buzzing and it sounds like flies, which are referencing the where flies will lay their eggs, and it does sound like insects. It's creepy, and it's like, it does sound like creepy crawlies going up and down your skin. It's fucking horrible, and I love it, and it's a really, really great way of where the music works with the lyrics. That's why I think this is such a strong concept album, because, they are literally working in tandem, and they're rewarding each other and feeding off each other. And on this song in particular, yeah, like the guitars are just so fuzzed out. Like, it's not distortion, not like on like a heavy metal record. It's fuzz. It's more like rock, 60s psych rock even. All this fuzz, and like, yeah, it's like, it struck me. I was like, it sounds like flies buzzing around. Especially that part before the chorus. You're like, fuck. And yeah, it's great production, great guitar playing. Not technical, but like great guitar playing. It's. Musically, it's a super cool song.
And kind of to go along with what you guys are saying production wise, I feel like this is one of the most stripped down songs on this entire record. It's much more vulnerable and pure. There's a lot less of like sound effects and soundscapes, and they, like what you were saying with Jeff with the drums, they're louder, they're more bombastic, they sound more natural, they sound more like an acoustic kit that's not thrown through a bunch of filters and shit like that. And I like that. Like, it's so refreshing. I mean, we're 4 songs deep, and we've heard all the craziness of the electronics, and we just came off of the 9 Inch Nails song, and it's just so nice to get to this particular song, and then Twiggy's bass tone, it's so thick. It just sounds so nice, and not only that, but it's turned up much louder in the mix than other songs. So that bass line really kind of drives the song and gives the song an entirely different feel had it not been turned up. Like,
Oh, definitely.
This song is really, really good. I like this one a lot, even though it's a much slower and not really my thing, but it's how they approach the song that I like so much, rather than the actual song itself. So, but it is my 7B. It's a banger for all of us. So I'm gonna play a little bit of it, and then we'll get into the lyrics.
Sweet.
So here's a bit of Tourniquet from the Marilyn Mansons. All right, there we go. A bit of Tourniquet from the Marilyn Mansons. And I hear a lot of Smashing Pumpkins in this too, guitar-wise. Maybe that's why Jeff hates the guitar so much in this song. But there's a lot of, I hear a lot of Billy Corgan in this one. So, I don't know. It's my
Yeah, that makes
2
sense.
cents.
They were friends. Say Billy's much more involved in Mechanical Animals as a kind of uncredited, like, kind of listening ear, I guess.
Yeah, it's like an advisor almost.
Yeah. 2 narcissists telling each other they're great.
Dude.
Not badly at all.
Hey,
Perfect.
don't you dare talk so badly
Straight
about Billy
fucking,
Corgan.
like,
Honestly,
Napoleon
about William
complex,
Patrick
dude.
Corgan.
Oh God.
I just
I like
got
the
one of his
Pumpkins.
solo records. I have it. It's on the way to my house right now. One of
Oh,
his
is that
solo
the
records.
country one?
No. I already
Or,
have that one. Cotillions. I've got I think it's pronounced Ogallala. That one.
Oh yeah.
It was like $10.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
Oh, nice.
I'll just buy that one, and yeah, so it's being shipped to me right now. I'm stoked.
That's cute.
Yeah, I love Billy Corgan. Jeff should too.
Billy loves Billy Corgan.
That's true.
There's enough love from Billy Corgan for Billy Corgan that no one else needs to love Billy Corgan.
Yeah, but that's cool.
Oh man. All right, so what do we got lyrically on this one? What do you guys got? Go.
I kind of saw this one as like an autobiographical on Manson. It just seems like there's a lot of hurt going on here. And I think if you think about how a tourniquet is actually used right, like stopping death by cutting off blood flow, but potentially losing whatever limb you're applying the tourniquet to. So there's like some similarities here with how hard like some emotional decisions can be. Yes, I'm going to cut off, said emotion. However, it's going to like be a part of me for the rest of my life. Like losing a limb would be if you apply the tourniquet and then losing that limb, but it's saving your life. So you're trading off living continuously, but then you also like you look down and there's a constant reminder of that decision that you made. And so I don't know. I don't know what you asked me. I'm getting delirious.
I just asked you about the lyrics. That's all I asked you about.
Dude, I don't usually drink this much this often on a Saturday afternoon. So
how much of you? Oh, you're drinking margaritas too. Like you're drinking straight up tequila. So
wasted away again in Margaritaville. Love it,
dude. Jimmy Buffett, come on, man.
Oh, what legend!
He is. He's legendary. Absolutely.
Man, we are covering a lot of ground in this podcast.
I know. And we've been here for a while. We've been here for a minute.
Yeah.
But tourniquet, I understand. What I said still holds true. This is like an autobiographical. Manson is hurting in some capacity, and that hurt is stemming from like tourniquet. Like a tourniquet is used to save your life, but it also is going to leave lasting impressions because you're going to lose that fucking limb. If you get your leg gashed, if your arteries are cut, you apply a tourniquet, you're going to probably lose that fucking leg, but you're going to live. So the tourniquet is a very catch-22 kind of thing here. It's like, I'm going to save your life by applying this thing, but you're going to lose that fucking leg.
Yeah.
I like that comparison.
I mean, I completely agree. I do think it's biographical. I think it's a reference to drugs as well. There's references to things like foil and tourniquet, man. Literally, I know he wasn't ever into heroin or whatever, but obviously, his first bass player, Gidget all over. He was off again.
Overdosed like 3 times. From what I read, overdosed 3 times.
Yeah, and died of an overdose. Yeah, was kicked out of the band for it. He was obviously using a lot of cocaine at this time. So I think it is autobiographical. It's there's some really horrible imagery, but like it's really strong imagery. Like you can see it. There's a picture in your mind. That she's made of hair and bone and little teeth, things that cannot speak. There's this horrible kind of broken doll kind of vibe going on. That it's and it's almost a love song. In a really fucked up way. Take your hatred out on me, make your victim my head. You never believed in me, but I am your tourniquet. It's like, abusive relationship or like, to say whether it's about like his cocaine addiction or, it's like, you never believed in me, but I'm still going to be here for you. Like you can take your fucked up outness on me, and I'll be that for you. Which I guess is how it slides into the story. It's the deal that the worm is making with the the parasite thing. It's like we are symbiotic. I need you to become what I want to become, but you need me to survive.
Yeah.
I just want to slide it into the story.
But
I do think it's more biographical than a lot of this record.
I agree with you on that part too. I mean, I think he even said this is like the lowest point of his vulnerability, and I guess he was fucked up on coke, and he was crying, and that's when they decided to record his vocals for, I don't know, for whatever that's worth. It might be true. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
It could just be a story. I don't know.
I mean, a lot of the long road out of hell, I think, is just marketing, but it's it's a great read. It's a great read. So I used to have a copy, and it got lost or borrowed or destroyed, unfortunately. Because it's a heck of a rock autobiography.
Yeah, I got halfway through the audiobook of it, but
nice.
It was good though. I want to finish it. I just didn't have a chance to finish it this week, but no, back to this song. Like, this is also him. We're almost to the point where, like, he's in the story, he's coming into him being the Antichrist. He's rising up. But in this song, this is the last one where he kind of compares an innocent seeming girl that he's with, who's actually like evil and sinister inside, but to the outside world she's very sweet and nice. And little does anybody know, she's like a terrible human. And this girl just destroys him. This destroys his like fragility and his view on life and society and everything. Like, no matter how peaceful and nice and sweet something or somebody looks, there's always something evil underneath there. And that kind of goes along with his hypocrisy of religion and the elite. And then at this point, after this song, Little Horn starts to build that rise. Like, he's finally reached that tipping point. In this song, he's reached that tipping point. Like, this is where he realizes, like, he's been hurt one last time by the wrong person, and then now he's going to rise up and become this Antichrist and destroy everyone.
Oh, definitely.
And that's what I get story-wise on this song.
Yeah, I mean, the dichotomy you just explained of the girl who's pure on the outside and dark on the, obviously that's complete, that's why it's Marilyn Manson. He goes into that. That's literally the dichotomy of the band name, like, laid out in a song. I think that's a really good point, man. That's great.
That's my view on it. But yeah, I mean, that's all I got lyrically on this one. Do we have anything left on this particular song on Nocturnicate?
No, I'm good.
We're good. So Little Horn is the next one here.
Yeah.
This is my 5B.
Ooh, my 5B.
What?
Oh, nice. It's not quite a B for me. It's almost a B.
Oh, wow.
Almost a B.
Shit.
It's fucking great, though.
Wait,
Where
does this sit for you, Jeff?
This is my 5B also.
Oh, you're fine. Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's jump into the music on this one. So what do we have on this?
Dude, right out the gate, like, I love where this is heading. I know we're going to drop into something solid. I know. Because that's you listen to enough music, you know what's going to happen. And we do. Eventually we do. It doesn't quite match up to, like, the Slipknot drops that we've talked about before. Like, when Slipknot drops, arguably, like, the greatest drops of all time, aside from, like, dubstep and techno shit, like, the Slipknot drops are just, it's madness. Absolute madness. But this is still pretty goddamn good, though. And it's a super short song. I love it. And the Manson never stops. I also like how they don't shy away from the same heavy, fuzzed out guitar tone throughout the song. It's obnoxious. It's loud. You hear it. They want you to hear it. And I dig that. I dig, baby.
Good.
Yeah. So it's heavy as fuck. It's great. Like I say, it was on my bangers list, and then I took it off. Like I've ummed and ahed in my bangers and moved them all around. Yeah, I know. I just.
That's okay. That's
okay. I mean, there's some stuff I know on my bangers list that you're gonna. I mean, we've already disagreed on dried up, tied up, but that's cool. That's what we're here for. We're here to discuss and for someone to be wrong.
And you and Tyler.
It's me, baby. Me. But you know what? I revel in my wrongness. That's right.
Might as well.
Yeah, Little Horn, man. It's. I mean, yeah. Very similar notes. When it's like, I love the guitar tone. It is obnoxious. I literally wrote obnoxious as well. Literally.
It's even worse when you say literally.
Literally, chaps. Calm down, Jeffrey. Come on. Oh mate, yeah. It's Manson doesn't stop. Like, the drums are really kind of propulsive as well. It's more like a straight up rock song, again, than like some of the more electric stuff we've heard before. It's propulsive is the word I've got, and like I love the fact it's called Little Horn. It's a biblical reference to Lucifer. It's pretty cool. Again, like he's pushing buttons. He knows how to fuck off parents. That's what I say. He's like a great rock and roll showman. Like, it's rock and roll, pissing off parents since the early 50s. That's what he's doing. He's carrying that on. Like, kids buying that, they're not going to go who Little Horn is, but like, that an uber conservative like Bible about like, they're gonna know exactly what Wagwan, you know. And I think that's great, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put it back on my bangers list. You know,
might as,
with a
you might
different
as
listen.
well. You might.
Yeah.
I mean, how many bangers
I'm
do you
happy to
have?
play it. I have 9 bangers.
Oh, you have 9, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I honestly, like, the hardest part of preparing for this podcast, like, it wasn't like notes, it wasn't like, apart from getting through like Heaven Upside Down, was like, yeah, was rating these songs, because, man, like, A, it's a concept record, and B, man, it's just, there's so much good shit going on. But yeah, musically, that's kind of what I got.
Okay.
What I got.
All right. I mean, to me, this one, I mean, it just starts off heavy, fast, right from the get-go. And just that super distorted wall of chugging guitars. I love me some chugs. I mean, it's not super crazy chugs, but there's some chugs in here, and I love it. Some good drum stuff, some great sound effects, and that build up back into the chorus is very short, but it's pretty damn cool. I think this is just a solid song to just kind of get you going, and coming off of Tourniquet, which is obviously, like we talked about, a much more vulnerable song, a little bit slower. You get this song and it just hits you really hard. Yeah, there's some electronic stuff, and it makes sense because, I mean, this particular song was written by Twiggy and Trent Reznor, so there is some of the Nine Inch Nails stuff in here. But I mean, it still hits pretty fucking hard, and I think this is a really solid song. I love it. So if we have anything else musically, we can get into that. Otherwise, do we want to jump into the lyrics? What do we want to do?
This one was cool because yeah, the little horn, like, on the surface, the Satan reference, but then I dug a little deeper, right? So, like, firstly, Manson said this came from, like, a dream he had or some other stupid, dumb fucking thing that is complete fabrication and bullshit, obviously. But then, like, I was just Googling little horn because it was interesting, and then it was like a biblical thing, legit. Like, Daniel 7:8 has a version. Like in the Bible, it has a vision of 4 beasts, 4 beasts that represent the 4 empires of the time, whatever the fuck they were, and they're all named in this verse. And while Daniel's looking at the 4th beast in his vision, like, the beast, as he's looking at it, grows another horn, a little horn. And he's and Daniel's like thinking, like, why the fuck did this beast just grow a little horn? These 4 empires at the time represent whatever. Fuck, I should have wrote it down, but I didn't. But whatever empires that they were, and Daniel realized that this fourth little horn from the 4th empire is going to be like the Antichrist, is going to rise up and to be completely bigger and more detrimental to society and Christianity than ever known. And as this little horn is coming up, this little horn is talking shit. This little horn is just spitting blasphemy the entire time as it's growing from this beast's head. And Daniel's thinking, like, holy fuck, this is the end times. And that little horn represents, like, the Antichrist in the Bible. And I thought that was fucking dope.
Yeah. It's a really awesome reference.
Because if we're just talking about complete, like, fairy tales and stuff in the Bible lore, like, this is a cool story.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's a great little, like, I feel like obscure reference. Like, nobody talks about, I mean, very, very rarely do people talk about, like, the crazy fairy tale stuff from the Bible, except, like, you know, like the partying of the waters that Noah did. But that was Old Testament.
Yeah. Moses,
Nobody really talks about the Old
yeah.
Testament. The Old Testament's like, that's some fucking wild, fucked up shit. And nobody really talks about it because it's the Old Testament. And
Vengeful God. They talk about loving God. Vengeful God.
Yeah.
Loving God. You know?
Yes. Very love-hate relationship with his people. Sure.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, Old Testament's just like, fuck it, burn that city, kill your kid, I'm cool, whatever. Worship me, bitches. Yeah.
The way I agree with you, Jeff. The way he used Little Horn and just kind of used it as a starting point for in this story, the starting point for his rise. It was a nice touch. It was a very, very nice, subtle touch that I feel like could be lost on most people. So
it was so cool. It was, I don't know, like I went in 2nd grade. I went to, like, CC. Like, I went to, like, Catholic school in 2nd grade for most of 2nd grade until it became too expensive and way too stupid, and I essentially was forced out. But, like, I remember just like all you fucking do is just talk about like religion, and which is fine, to be expected.
Mm.
And so it's very interesting to see like other people that spent more time in the church, like Manson, and growing up in this. And like I grew up Catholic, but I went to church because I had to, because all my other family members went to church. But I never liked it. Never felt like I was a part of it. But it's cool to see these little stories here that kind of come up these are like Bible deep cuts is what they are. They're Bible deep cuts.
Outsides, B-sides. Yeah.
They are. They're like Bible B-sides is what's happening here. And I always find it super fascinating when artists throw in like B-sides in the Bible. This is fucking cool. I've never heard this story before, and I think it's an awesome story.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was raised Catholic as well. Like, I went to Catholic school as a kid before, like, what we'd call what you guys, I guess, would call elementary. You know, what we call like infants and juniors. I was Catholic, and I was an altar boy and everything. You know, I wore a cassock and rang the bells.
Wow.
Yeah, well, so my grandparents on my mum's side were super religious, like church 3 or 4 times a week. Knowing what's called the Cartenians, which is a sort of you're not like a priest, but like you're kind of like you're hanging with the priests,
like the deacon almost. Like the deacon is
he's
like almost like he's like the bootleg priest. That's what the deacon is.
Yeah. You know, and they used to go to. I mean, I remember being dragged to Latin masses, you know, and stuff.
Oh, dude, I've been to a Latin mass. I don't get that. I don't.
It's fascinating because it was at the oratory, which is actually where Tolkien was raised. So a little bit of history there. But you know, we won't go off on a full Tolkien rant as well. We've already had Star Wars and The Wire, and you know, Lord knows whatever else. It's 2 a.m. Like. Yeah, like, so I, you know, a lot of the religious iconography, like I know from just my childhood, you know, these were stories that were told to me, and you know, like, yeah, I mean, if you've ever read Revelations, man, it's batshit. Like, there's some cool ass shit imagery in it though. To get back to the song, yeah, I mean, there's some great imagery in this, you know, it's about, I think, well, it's very, you know, it's little horn is born, you know, it's the growth of this. Yeah, the seed is planted. The idea, you know, there's an apple in the pussy mouth is opening it. You know, and that's a lot of fertility imagery straight up. You know, obviously the apple, forbidden fruit, pussy mouth. You know, it's vagina. It's fertility. References a tumor in the same thing, and you know, TV mouth. Obviously, TV being a replacement for God is a huge theme among Manson's work.
Yeah.
You know, and it's about, and again, it's the, you know, the world spreads its legs for another star, which is how he opened Rock and Roll Ninja on Smells Like Children. You know, he's recycled these ideas. He's quite good at that. Like I mentioned in the early episode, if he likes an idea, like he'll take it and he'll do it again, and he'll run with it. And it does add a kind of cohesion to his work as well. Again, we get the use of the word worms as well. And your blind have now become my death, you know. I quite like that. You know, he's saying, I'm going to take these people and they're going to become mine, and they're going to stop listening to you, and they're going to become mine. They're blinded by you, but I'm going to shut their ears to, and so, you know, it's cool. Yeah, it's the little horn is born, man. It's cool. It's not a lot of lyrics actually, like,
no.
But, it's just, and again, it's kind of vulgar. And offensive, but it's really well thought out. You know, he's never just. I think the difference between like this album and maybe Portrait is like with Portrait, he's just being offensive. I can hear the dirt bike there.
I heard that one
too. He's just being offensive for the point of being offensive. Whilst with Antichrist, you know, I think he's like still being just as offensive, but there's more of a purpose to it. You know, he's trying to actually say something.
Yeah, and I read too that the song was inspired by a dream he had, where the apocalypse happened, like a zombie apocalypse, and the elite, or the beautiful people, I guess, they were using the zombies as entertainment in strip clubs and stuff like that, and kind of relating that to that overall story arc. You could maybe associate the zombies as like the followers, like the hardcore church followers, or the hardcore followers of like celebrities, like just how people just call people zombies. for just watching
Yeah.
TV all the time. Like I think that's kind of what he's getting at in this particular song. If it was inspired by that particular dream, like the zombie people that just follow everything that they're told and not questioning anything, much like a lot of the church and a lot of, its followers do. I feel like that's kind of what he's getting at, leading up or building on the theme and the story of this particular song. That's kind of what I got based off of that particular dream he had. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my thoughts on it.
Nah, I'm with you.
So do we have anything left on Little Horn, or should we move on to Crypto Orchid? Or Crypto Orchid?
We can move on.
We good?
Let's go.
All right. So what?
Yes, I was agreeing with you.
Oh, you were.
Let's
okay.
go.
All right.
Yeah, sorry.
So Crypto Orchid, this one, this is not a banger for me. I don't know where it sits with you guys. So what do you got on this one, banger wise and musically? What do you got?
This is not a banger for me. This is a transitional song. I see this as a bridge, and that's about it. It's not bad. It's not good. I think it serves a purpose. Otherwise, no, this is not a banger.
What do you think?
It's not a banger.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly as Jeff says. It's a transitional. It exists as part of the concert record. It's not really a song. It's got that cool little. I mean, it's almost proggy in sense of like, it's got the weird little flute in it, and it's got the really treated vocals with the little chants, it's just literally as a transition, and to further the story, it's the next, it's the part of the story that leads into, the next bit. Yeah, it's not a banger for me, but I understand where it sits on the record.
Yeah.
It's an important part of the record, but as an actual, it's not really a song, is it?
Yeah,
it's just
musically, it's more of an interlude. That's the way I look at it. But
yeah.
I feel like lyrically, this is a very important song lyrically, or at least my interpretation of it. I don't know what you guys have on it, but I think it's super important.
I mean, if we're going in line with like the story of the worm taking over the world, this would be like the spot where the worm realizes everything it was taught over the course of its life has been a fucking like conditioning experience, and now it's pissed off, right?
Yeah.
That's what I wrote down.
That's like.
Yeah.
I think that's like the gist of it. But I mean, do you have what else do you have on this one, Skip? I mean, lyrically on this one.
Lyrically, I mean, it's a cool vocal performance. Again, it's very theatrical. It's there's kind of the falsetto-y bits when he's like number 7, and then like the way he says rape with the lyrics, when the worm consumes a boy, it's never ever considered. He kind of goes up, and it's hammy. Interlude is the exact word that I was trying to find.
Yeah.
And I think it's I love the imagery this one comes, that where my mother dies, I feel my back is changing shape. He is physically transforming. The worm, I almost think more of like a caterpillar kind of imagery. So you have the sort of cocoon, and he comes out this eventually becoming the angel with the scabbed wings, essentially, which we'll get to. Super important part of the story. And again, it's kind of autobiographical. His parents were kind of diet Catholics, weren't they? And sort of and I think it's that him discovering that he doesn't buy into this shit at all.
That's what I get with this one too. He's fully kind of coming into his own and realizing, after the heartbreak of Tourniquet and all that, like now he's growing into something almost evil at this point.
Yeah.
This is the big
is the
big turning point. Yeah. And like
this is it.
To me in this one, his use of certain words, like he uses the word worm a lot in this song as like a transition into something grotesque, rather than using the word caterpillar, which, like, when you really think about it, a caterpillar is like cute, it's fuzzy, and it changes into a butterfly, like it changes into something beautiful. But a worm is just gross. They're just slimy, gross. They don't evolve into
shit
anything.
Creature.
Yeah, they're gross. So his use of the word worm
pathetic. It's
rather than
pathetic,
caterpillar, I think, is really effective. and it
Oh,
really
yeah.
sets you up for like, wow, he's going to be something absolutely grotesque by just using that word instead of a caterpillar. And on top of that, in the refrain of the song lyrically, it's the angel that he's describing being born under the darkness of an eclipse rather than like the warmth of a sun is also really telling, or like foreshadowing like what's to come. Like, because most people are born under a warm, like it's supposed to be light, but he depicts everything in this song very dark, and he uses very dark imagery and words. And I feel like this song is really cool lyrically, the way he just words it and sets up what's going to be happening next with the rise and fall of man, essentially. In this,
yeah,
in
using
this
the
song.
word bitter instead of better. The time has come for bitter thing. I mean, that's. I mean, like he's always said he loves wordplay.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's like, yeah, and so it's almost baroque sounding. You know, you've got the little flute at that point, and I say it's really treated, and it's just chant. It's cool, man. It's kind of like the most prog rock thing like he's done, because it is just an interlude to like set up the next stage. Yeah, that's what I've got.
I love the concept of worm versus caterpillar. I think the deliberate usage of worm is fantastic, because as a world, as a population, we think caterpillars, like Tyler said, are so cute. They turn into butterflies, but they're the fucking worst, because caterpillars, in just regards to what they do for like the environment, and now that I garden and stuff, caterpillars are the fucking worst. They eat all of your plants. They just shit everywhere. They provide no sustenance whatsoever. Worms actually eat the bad stuff that is in your soil and then excrete like nitrogen and great stuff for your plants to feed on. And thus, like, worms are a fantastic part of a garden to make your plants grow vibrant and delicious and robust. Whereas caterpillars are detrimental because they fucking eat everything. And realistically, if you zoom in on a butterfly, it's just an ugly caterpillar with wings. It's fucking disgusting. They're terrible.
Oh yeah.
They're food for other like things that eat shit, like frogs and stuff and lizards. Like, butterflies are trash. Caterpillars are trash. Worms are where it's at, baby. Love worms.
That's your. That is right there. That's the intro to the episode. Caterpillars are trash. Butterflies trash. Worms.
Caterpillars and butterflies are trash. Worms are where it's at.
It goes also into like how vain society is, because we see the beauty on the outside of like a butterfly and what a caterpillar grows into, but then we don't see what it's actually worth and what it does. Where it's a very vain and superficial way of looking at society,
Totally.
a way to compare it to society, I mean.
Worms are like literally what drives crops forward, what drives people fishing, right? You don't hook a butterfly to go catch a fish. You hook a worm because fish like worms. It's a cycle of life. Worms are amazing.
Yeah,
worms are one of the most underappreciated beings on this earth. Love worms.
Oh, they're super cool. Earthworm Jim, what a legend.
Oh my god! It was just they just released on the Switch online. You can play Earthworm Jim now.
Yeah, you can.
What?
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's so cool. I remember that game from back in the day.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I love that game.
We really do cover everything on this pod. Asinine Radio,
Dude, honestly,
greatest podcast.
Honestly,
5 stars.
worms, ladybugs, praying mantis, all of these things are severely underappreciated.
Oh, praying mantis is so cool. Yeah.
They're rad.
Because they eat all like the shit,
Manti?
dude. Like, they eat
that
all
the
of the
plural?
crap.
Yeah.
And don't ladybugs eat like all the little like
Dude,
not mites?
Don't even get
but
me
they
started on ladybugs. Ladybugs
Like aphids, right?
Ladybugs are the fucking ninja assassins of a garden. So like, there's these fucking annoying creatures called aphids, and they they burrow on the underside of like leaves and shit, and just destroy crops. Ladybugs, that's like pizza. That's like crack to ladybugs. They search and destroy these stupid fucking aphids. And you can buy ladybugs by like the thousands. Dude, ladybugs are like the ninja assassins of gardens.
You say ladybug, and like I say ladybird. It's the same thing.
Is that really ladybird? Is that a...
Yeah, we call them ladybirds over here.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Ladybird?
I don't know which one I like more.
Yeah. Give it a Google. It's the same little cool. They're cool little guys. But yeah, aphids, man.
They're the worst.
Bastards. Aphids and caterpillars. Go fuck yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Welcome to Gardener's World.
Oh shit! All right, so let's get into the next song. How do you pronounce it?
Easy.
Deformography.
Yeah, there we go. So this is not a banger for me either. What does it sit? What does it sit with you guys?
This is not a banger for me either. Without the prior song, this song would have just came across pretty weird and kind of out of sequence. And of course, like Reznor has writing credits with this one too, so like you just like that. It's that fucking Nine Inch Nails ticking noise. That bothers me here. I think this one is very Nine Inch Nails sounding, a little masked compared to the other one. But I just don't care to hear an extension of Reznor's boredom with his own band, and then now he's putting his little fingers in this band, and that irritates me. That's what I think the song is. That's it.
Cool. It is a banger for me. This is actually my freebie.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so disagreements ahoy. So I mean, musically, it's like I love the bit where the live drums come in. That to me is where this song really kicks in. You know, you got the intro, you know, where Manson's sort of like being kind of quiet and he's doing that kind of creepy vocal, and then with the like, it's a really kind of 70s hard rock thing where like he seems to love like a big silly sort of drum fill, like a ba-dum, ba-dum, and then going into a song. And yeah, it's so good here, and like I love the bass lurch. You know, it's got a wicked like horrible ba-dum, ga-dum. It's horrible. It's great. It's got that swing there. Throughout this whole record, I think live drums are kind of used to emphasize like dramatic moments. And this is like kind of a dramatic part. This is like, you know, the statement of the middle of the record. It also kind of feels a little bit like a rehash at Lunchbox. You know, they both have the word rock star really prominent. And I love the guitar. Like, it's so horrible when he's yelling rock star, and it's like that like kind of atonal noise behind it that's like on a high pitch. It's so horrible that like I love it. Like it really, really like goes with the song for me. I think obviously the big difference between us guys is that I like Nine Inch Nails. So I'm all for Trent being all over it, but I think that's great because obviously it gives us stuff to talk about. Musically, I think it's a really ugly song. I think the vocal performance is great. The way there's like lots of different bits of vocal going across, you know, when he sings like jagged holes, your star is so sharp, or when he's just like repeating sick over and over again, it's kind of like put as a backing vocal. So it is kind of like the duality that there is the two people, you know, there's the characters, and just again, it is kind of a Trent Reznor-y thing. I get it. It's like a Nine Inch Nails trick, but now I always love Deformography, so it's my freebie. Yeah.
Freebie.
That's a high B.
Shit.
That's a high B.
It is a high B.
Yeah. That is.
Yeah.
So I will say my internet was cutting out, so I missed a lot of what Jeff said and a little bit of what you said, Skip, but it's all good now. So if I repeat anything, I'm sorry that you said.
That's so cool.
But
cool,
so wait,
bruh.
was this a B for you, Jeff?
No.
Okay.
It's too Nine Inch Nails sounding. There are cool parts to this.
That's what I
like,
put here too. Yeah.
Like I did like the annoying high synth note that was played almost throughout the entire song. I like that. I thought that was fun. That was unnerving. That was a deliberate attempt to be annoying, and it did its job well. I like that. There's this part before the bridge that has like the pacing super choppy, and you can hear some of the silence, and that's only like broken by like the hi-hat, and like that part also I love a lot. And so like when you have a part where everybody's doing the same riff, and in that riff between notes it's just dead silence, like I like that. But then adding just a very, very like over the top high in the mix loud hi-hat in that silence part, I think that's really cool. I like that. It's aggressive. It's aggressive, and I dig. I like that.
I agree too. I mean, this is much more industrial sounding, much more Nine Inch Nails sounding, which is fine. It's just it doesn't have the same kick as some of the more just Twiggy and Daisy stuff that they write on this album. And in the chorus, though, it does get pretty fucking loud where the guitars sound almost like machines. Like, they don't sound like guitars. I don't know what kind of, like, they're processing it in a certain way, using weird effects. I don't know what Reznor's doing on this, but it just sounds like a fucking, like, machinery or something weird. I can't, I have no other way of explaining it, but it's a cool song. It serves its purpose on this record. It really does. But this is kind of like a lull on the entire record. Like, this song and the prior two songs, the prior two songs, I'd say, are just kind of like a low point on this record. But
fair. I think again, cool. Like, lyrically, it's an important part of the record because it is like, it's the voice of the whatever's inside him. You know, telling, you know, I fell into you. Yeah. Insect, you know, it's an important part just in terms of, yeah. And I say, like, yeah, obviously, well, it's not a banger for you guys, so I'm happy to kind of move on from it. But I love
the lyrics here. The lyrics are fucking great.
Yeah, the lyrics are the best part, I think.
It's one of the best on the album.
Yeah, there's some just horrible imagery. It's great. And I love, like, yeah, your star is so sharp, it leaves me jagged holes. I've always loved that line. I think it's so cool.
And the line that he says, I think it's the last line. He says, "I am the one you want, and what you want is so unreal."
It's so unreal,
dude. Come on, it's like it's not only a dig at the controversy like surrounding Manson. Like, people hate Manson and the image that Manson has portrayed, but that's not who the fuck he is. That has nothing to do with what he believes in, what he's trying to portray onto everybody else. And, like, it took me many years to even realize that Marilyn Manson wasn't his real fucking name, right? Like, I had no idea. I had no idea until I was in my 20s that Marilyn Manson, that's not his actual name. So, like, I love that he's saying, I'm the one you want. Like, that's fine. I will be essentially the martyr of all of America to hate something. If you want to hate me, that's fine because I can take it. It's like Batman. Oh my God, he's like Batman right now. I'm describing Batman. It's bothering
Brian,
me. I don't
Batman
like it.
Warner.
he's like Christian Bale's Batman in The Dark Knight. You know, he's the hero we need, or he's the hero we deserved, is not the one we need right now. And that's like that's like Manson at the time. Wow, that's gross.
Does that make Twiggy Alfred?
No,
Master Brian.
No.
Twiggy's more like Commissioner Gordon.
At
best. But then that's like comparing him to Gary Oldman, and that's also.
I mean, there were more than one Commissioner Gordon, but that's fine. That's okay. Stupid. All right. Lyrically on this one, for me, it's more of him just kind of. People are kind of seeing him for what he, like, the elite, the beautiful people are kind of seeing him for who he is, and he's like he's almost like threatening them. Like, they're intrigued. They want to know more. They want to kind of be a part of his thing, but he's like, I'm far worse than what you think I'm far worse than you think I am, and I'll poison you, I'll destroy you, I'll bring you all down. But they can't help but continue to, like, want to know more, want to bring him into their circle. And then that leads into the next song, Warm Boy, which, like, really expands on that part of the story, I feel, where he actually gets into the society, into the elite, but we'll get into that in a moment. But that's what I got lyrically on Deformography.
No, I agree. I mean, I make myself sick just to poison you. I love that as well.
That's a really good line.
Like, it's like, you know what, fuck it. I would rather destroy myself just to make sure that you are destroyed. You know, it's cool.
So gnarly.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, as I say, like, you know, the reference, you know, I love the fact, Lunchbox, I want to be a big rock and roll star, and then I'm such a dirty, dirty rock star. You know, it's great. You know, self-fulfilling prophecy. You know,
really
he's so smart at this point, like, and just, he knew exactly what he was doing. I just also love, like, again, really offensive, you know, I will bury your God in my warm spit, you'll be deformed in your porn. You know, he's basically equating, like, religion to, like, anal sex porn right there, and I think that's, in 1996, you know, it's that's pretty horrible.
Yeah, that's pretty offensive to a lot of people.
Yep, it's great.
It is. It really is. So, do we have anything left on this song, or do we want to move on to Warm Boy?
I'm good.
Let's go to Worm Boy.
Okay, so Worm Boy for me, this is my 7B. Where does this sit for you guys? What do you guys got?
This is not a B for me.
It's not a B for me. It's close, and it's a cool song. Let's go through it. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So musically, what do we have on this one, Jeff?
So like sequencing wise, this was the first song I've thought that was moving in the pop direction. But there were like glimpses of cool parts, I thought. Like some parts after the chorus, like the drums kick up and you think you're about to drop into something cool. Some of Manson's delivery was goofy and fun, like the bridge. Like it's stupid. It's stupid, but it's funny. And I had a good time with it. I did like how the song actually slowed after the bridge. It duped me. Like I thought it was going somewhere and it did something different. So like that was fun. I still like getting duped sometimes with the pacing of music. Worm Boy had fun parts to it. Overall, it was okay. It's fine. It's all right.
Okay. All right, that's fine. What do you got on this?
So this is obviously, not obviously, but I know this is the song that Daisy was most involved in. That Scott, like, it's the closest to anything off Portrait of an American Family to me. Like, it sticks out already. Like the guitar tones, the kind of the way the guitar is played. It sounds much more like it could be on Portrait to me, and even the kind of the way, the kind of goofy performance. Like, I mean, it mentions A Long Hard Ride Out of Hell. This is the one that Scott had worked on the most with the band, and they kept a lot of his guitar on this track. And you can hear it. To me, it's a very different guitar style to whatever Trent and Twiggy play across the record. Yeah. So I do think maybe musically this song kind of already existed, and then it's been repurposed with the lyrics. Because even when he repeats, "I know I'm slipping," that's very Portrait of American Family to me, and like with the little kind of pinch harmonics in places and stuff. It's kind of the most light-hearted part on the record, I think, and it's kind of deliberately poppy, I think. Yeah,
I think so too. Especially with the drums. The drums are like perfectly busy here, to where it doesn't sound like a typical industrial kind of song or a typical Manson song. There's a little bit something just different. I guess poppy would be a good way, like you said.
Yeah, and it's the only song really that still has like one foot in that kind of cheesy, silly horror punk of the first record. Yeah. Even the name sounds a bit kind of cheesy horror punk, doesn't it? Worm Boy.
Well, even the guitar playing is kind of wonky too. It's not a typical kind of wall of guitar. It's just it's a little bit different. It's more, I don't even want to say dancey. It's just different than what they normally do.
Yeah,
but like
I think
to Portrait.
Wonky is a perfect word. Yeah, like I think Daisy Berkowitz had a really wonky guitar style. I quite enjoyed it. I understand why they parted ways and completely different musical direction, but for the Spooky Kid stuff, like that wonk is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even Manson he does some cool falsetto stuff on this one as well, and not to mention the chorus is super catchy. And there were even parts of this that reminded me, vocally at least, that reminded me a lot of Rob Zombie. Like the way he paced his vocals were very, very Rob Zombie. I'm not a big Rob Zombie guy, but basing this more off of like his bigger hits, his vocal approach reminds me of Zombie a bit. So
I can for sure hear that, because I'm also not a big Rob Zombie guy, but his biggest hits, I hear that. I can hear that.
Yeah, I too am not a Zombie man.
It's kind of like that lackadaisical kind of delivery that Zombie has. I don't know.
They've toured together a lot, haven't they?
Yeah,
they've done a couple of co-headlining tours, and John 5 is obviously like still in Rob Zombie.
He's Rob Zombie, so that's the weirdest thing to me. Like, I thought they fucking hated each other. How is it that Manson's touring was with Rob Zombie, a co-headlining tour with Rob Zombie, when John 5's in the band? That was bizarre.
Dollar is dollar. Dollar
That's
is
true,
dollar.
Yeah. I mean, they fucking hate each other, but whatever. Okay, so what do we have lyrically on this one? What do we got?
I think it was about how we view people in power or with high status. I don't know. Like when we get to heaven, we'll wish we were in hell. Is similar to like voting for a politician only to realize they're the fucking worst thing ever. And especially how it rings so true now, like in America with the past presidential elections and in recent memory of how we thought one person is going to be better, but then realizing like, damn, not only were both candidates the worst, but the one I actually voted for is the worst of fucking all humankind. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of what I That's what I thought here. Warm Boy, like
Like that,
digging
that
in.
interpretation of it.
Digging in,
Yeah.
getting deep there.
All right. So what do you got on this one?
I mean, it's similar, I guess. Also, like, in terms of the story progression, it's like quite literally when he really the worm gets its wings. It's literally there. That's what they said. And I do love that. Love everybody is destroying the value of. All hate has got me nowhere. And it's it's messing with dichotomies again, and it's like a kind of like piss take, I guess. And I love the oh no bits where he does a little high pitched weird thing and he's like, realizes I am everything they said I was and this is everything they said it was, and like it's always you're always chasing something when you get it. Whatever. Like it's I think it's just it's the closest to a portrait song, where he's just sort of again, it's a point of the hypocrisy at the capitalism of American culture, that you're always chasing something, and to realize that you are, we always become what we most hate,
And I mean, to kind of go with the main story too, kind of what I kind of interpret it as is it is an extension of the last song, like I was saying, but it's also he just. The Antichrist or Manson, he just keeps rebelling against the elite and rebelling against what everybody else believes in, and they're still loving it. They're still eating it up. And this goes back to like the beginning of the album where he talks about like religious people aren't actually loving people. They hate everything. They're very negative people. And this is a throwback to that. They're just eating up the negativity that he's spewing out. And this coincides with him in real life too. I feel like this is almost like an autobiographical song, in that the elite and beautiful people are treating his character, the Antichrist, the same as religious bigots do against him in real life. And that's kind of where we're going. To me, at least, that's where we're going story wise on this record. He's almost reached the peak, the apex of where the Antichrist is before he begins to fall. And then takes everybody with him. But that's my viewpoint on
I'd agree 100%. Yeah.
So, I don't know. We got anything else on this one? What do we want to do?
That's Play it, baby boy.
I don't know. Okay. That's it. So then let's move on to Mr. Superstar. I think we're like 3/4 of the way through, if I'm not mistaken. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're like halfway done. Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I know at least the last song. It's like, dude, that song's stupid. But sorry if anybody likes that one, but that song is.
That's what you think.
Oh, no, that's all right.
Yeah, it's like a 2-minute song. But anyway, Mr. Superstar, what do we got on this one? This is not a banger for me either. What do you have on this one?
Dude, this is a 6B for me.
Ooh.
This is
a 9 Inch Nails song hit the banger list.
I know.
Nice.
I know. And it's weird because it's all about tone. This song is all about tone for me, which is it's embarrassing to say because there's a lot of like 9 Inch Nails stuff in here and sounds, but like I love the fucking tone, and the ending like really got me. Like it was just a wall of annoying sounds. Fucking Trent Reznor finally like dug his razor Reznor nails into me and got me. Honestly, like that's
good work, Trent.
God, that's what really did me under was like this ending. But like, dude, the guitar tone, after the vocal intro, the guitar tone is just unmatched. One of the, if not the best thing that Manson's done in the band, like ever. It's unreal. It's amazing. And then the bass that follows, it follows for like a nice full band sound. Mm-hmm. So I love that. And then like there's this really like funky drum beat that's being thrown down. What's the drummer? Gingerfish. Ginger Baker. Yeah, Ginger Baker's throwing down a nice.
Ginger Baker.
Can you imagine?
Oh God.
Ginger Baker and Marilyn Manson collaborating. That's
something that would have never.
Arthur Miller over here, the odd couple.
Oh God.
Dude, it's an unreal funky drum beat. Everything is just well balanced, and again with them loud cymbal noises. Overall, this entire album, I don't understand why Because normally, like, if you have a loud cymbal, it's obnoxious. It's annoying. Cymbals are there to crash and kind of like dissipate and go away. They're there to build like early momentum, but then like go away instantly to allow the music to kind of like blend in and take over. But this entire album, like the cymbal noises are so obnoxious. They're so fucking loud. They linger so long. I don't know why I like it, but I like it overall. My only knock to this song is there's no melody. There's really no melody, and the chorus is just noise. It's fine. It doesn't excite me in like a melodic way, and it doesn't like quite excite me in a non-melodic way. But it's interesting. It's interesting, and it's mush. But because the soundscape is so unreal, this is a 6B for me. And again, I Skip's right. Like Reznor got to me, fucking got to me. Finally. For the first time and only time.
But he didn't write this one, did he? I don't think he wrote this one.
I think
he plays on it.
Yeah, he
does he?
plays
Okay,
on it.
okay, I'm wrong. Okay, sorry. My bad.
That's cool. I mean, this is
so
this
condescending.
That's cool. That's cool.
This is my 1B. Like Mr.
This
Superstar.
is your 1B?
No my way. 1B. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
Hey, and like, you know, what's great, you know, that guitar bit that you love, the best thing Marilyn Manson's ever done, that's Trent. That's literally Trent playing that bit. Yeah, I mean,
that guitar that guitar is Trent Reznor on this one?
The bit where it comes in like the yeah, like he's got like a really like annoying, recognizable right hand sound, same as James Hetfield. I'm not comparing him. Hetfield is a much more accomplished guitar player.
Yeah,
but like the rhythms and stuff that Trent Reznor used, like he's actually got a really good right hand. His fretting hand ain't jack shit, but he's like, yeah, he's got a really like. So you listen to a lot of Nine Inch Nails, which don't worry, I've done it for you. Oh yeah, you can hear it's Trent a mile off. Like I could not even know he was involved in this record. I'd hear that song, that's fucking Trent Reznor playing guitar. I love this song, man. It's so angry. It's so snarky. Yeah, that bit where like, you know, you've got the quiet guitar and the intro vocal, and then that guitar comes in, and then the bass, and it punches you, man. It's so solid, and that guitar tone, as you say, is so nasty, you know, and it's horribly EQ'd, and it's pure Trent Reznor. Like that is pure Trent Reznor, right there, all over it. And there's so much layering going on. You know, I know you called it mush, and it's the whole point. Like if you listen to the Downward Spiral, there are bits that are so extremely like produced and EQ'd that it just becomes like noise, and there's the joy in that. You know, it's how far can we push, especially in 1996. You know, in a little studio that he's just built in New Orleans. You know, and there's so much layering. Like, you know, the bit where he's going, "I wish I was dead," and it's like the really quiet kind of, again, like guitars almost like as a siren, like kind of like underneath, and it's like, you know, there's a lot of attention to detail, because Trent is a nerd. Like, he's a massive nerd. He started in synth pop and then used industrial metal to get girls or something. I don't know. But yeah, like there's so much like care and attention put into this song. It's a great vocal performance as well. You know, it's almost like a call and response the entire way. You know, it's I mean, we'll get to that when I get into the lyrics, but yeah, as you can hear, I'm gushing over this song, man. This song still when that guitar comes in, I still get that like hair in the back of the neck moment, you know, and it's just like I'm like next 4 minutes I'm just gonna settle back and be like, you know, I was like walking around and like, you know, head banging. Like it was great. I must have looked like a complete twat. It was amazing.
I'm fucking surprised. That's cool, man. I'm glad. Let's actually play it. Since this is your 1B, let's play Mr. Superstar. Yeah, we got to play your 1B.
So people can hear that guitar bit. Yeah.
So here's Mr. Superstar from the Nine Inch Nails. All right, there you go. There's a little bit of Mr. Superstar from Marilyn Manson. Man, that when that chorus hits, though, I mean, Jeff did say it right. Like, it's mush sounding. It's so saturated with just noise. And like what you said, Skip, it's just like the EQ is like just turned to shit. Like, it's like they just didn't give a fuck and just fucked with everything. But it's cool.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible, but I think that's why I like it, and it's reflective of the whole. The whole song is a horrible song. It's so negative and like sarcastic and snarky and just like I love the way he says "super fuck" in this song. Like, it's just stupid.
It's
yeah,
good. It's good stuff. So let's jump into the lyrics real quick. What do we have on this one?
Kind of a dramatic roundabout way to get mad at people for now idolizing him or the worm. Like, when he was meant to kill that kind of mindset, Manson was trying to educate people into not idolizing false idols, but ended up becoming said idol. But I mean, that's what he wanted. So
in the end, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, Manson wanted fame. Obviously, Brian wanted fame. So
Brian.
Sorry, excuse me.
All right, Skip, what do you got on this one lyrically?
I mean, yeah, obviously I agree with what Jeff says there, but also I think like it's the big bit I think is I know that I can turn you on, I wish I could just turn you off, I never wanted this. Now you can either take that as he's talking to the masses, I know that I can turn you on, like I've got your attention, like you're mine now, and I wish I could just turn you off, and as in like make you all like go away, I never wanted this. Or another way of looking at it is the worm is talking to the Antichrist, and it's this dichotomy that I've referenced before, where he's like, I wish I could just turn you off, I never wanted this, like you've taken me into this inhuman, I've become this thing that now I want to destroy, that everyone is worshipping, and like I hate what I've become, and I can see what I've become. And I just, I love the, the way the delivery of this, it's great. When he's like shouting, "I'll kill you if I can't have you." It's so great. And
it's very,
just that repetition.
That line though is just very, it's so manipulative, and it's something that, people do in relationships. Like, if I mean, it's so, a word that I need to put on the no list, which I'm gonna say one more time, but it's gonna go on the no list, is problematic. Like, that line is problematic on so many different planes.
But for lack of a better word, problematic is a good term to use when like addressing something that needs to be addressed deeper.
It is, but it's also a word. It's also like a buzzword. It's a huge buzzword right now, and
it's been taken over, and like everything is fucking
used
problematic.
Like way
so
too
it's
much.
But
it's
been
desaturated. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I really love the bit in I guess you'd call it the bridge, where everything kind of drops out, and he's doing a kind of very quiet, and he's just saying, "I wish I was dead," over and over again. They'll see you dead on TV. It's great, and again, it's this like, he touches on it more in Hollywood, but I think the seeds are planted here. The idea that like, if you die on TV, you're a martyr. You become a star.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's just like, he's such a self-referential artist that I really honestly do think perhaps like he knew what he was doing. He had these 3 albums, obviously not written, but he had the idea of like a multi-album story.
Mm-hmm.
He's a D&D nerd, as I said before, so he's got that kind of campaign brain, I guess.
That's a good way of putting it. That is a really good way of putting it.
And I do love that bit in the breakdown where the guitars are turned quite down, and they're doing that weird kind of, there's a little kind of horrible riff there, and it is just the bass and him going, repetition. I wish I was there. And then at the ending with the noise and a repetition of Superstar, Super Fuck Baby, and even that baby, like he just throws it in. It's really kind of like sarky and like it's just like
so
a utter
good.
piss take.
So
it's
good.
so good, right? And like the way and the transition of this into the next song is probably my favorite on the record. The way the next song kicks in is just so fucking.
That's because you get
brutal.
the fucking bass slide. That's why you like. That's why you like the transition.
It's the sexy. I literally it's in my notes.
Bass slide.
It's in my notes. Sexy
guy.
bass slide. Like,
That's exactly why you like it. This guy.
yeah, and it's a great riff as well. Yeah, so that's me gushing over Mr. Superstar.
That's awesome.
I can move on now.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, you guys touch upon the lyrics so much. Anything I would say would just be a repeat. So, let's move on to Angel with the Scabbed Wings. For me, this is my 6B. Where does it stand with you guys, and what do we got musically on this one?
This is not a banger for me. This is an okay song. Cool transition. Okay. Cool bass slide, obviously.
Cool bass slide.
But the song is okay. I don't think it builds all that well, which I guess is fine because there's no like drop or any other big moment, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But the song doesn't have like much personality aside from the small guitar riff that it has, and then also the solo I think is super weak. Super weak.
I do like that riff though. I do like that riff and how it just kind of it just rides and just bounces along pretty much the entire song. I do like that riff a lot, but I agree that it doesn't have that drop. But otherwise, I mean, that's what I got. What else you got on this one, Skip? Sorry, I kind of overtook that one and
no, it's
jumped
all
ahead
good,
of
man.
myself.
It's all good because I mean it is a B for me. It's actually my 2B or not 2B. I think part of it is it is that transition and that riff is to me I love it's so like silly heavy and like this is the closest to kind of metal that he ever gets really I think on this album. The really kind of like cliche, but like they'll use really well the little kind of like screams the guitar and the like over the riff. And I just think I think one of the reasons it's such a B for me is I absolutely love this vocal. This is a coke-addled like I had to look him up because I have no idea what he's saying when he starts just and you hear I love the bit you hear him go like and like you hear him literally take the breath and then just start like yelling and it's just and again it's EQ'd to like it's really blown out close mic'd obviously. I think he brought it back into the live set a few years ago and I was just like don't do it Brian, like there's no way you could do that like not now. But like no I just think it's the solo is I don't know I never even thought it is a solo really, it's just a bit of like musical fucking decoration, but I don't know. There's something about this song that just. I think maybe it's because it's coming out Mr. Superstar, which is obviously like my favorite song on the record, and I think it's just I remember like the first time I heard that riff, I was like, "Fuck me, that's heavy," and it's just stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's. I think it's a nostalgia tinged banger for me. Like, okay. It moved up my list. Like, I swapped it around with a couple of other songs and maybe, ask me next week and I'll have moved it down. But, right now, at this time, it's sexy bass line, man. And it's I don't know, like, the drums are really propulsive again. They're kind of glammy still. Like, the rhythm section is the hero of this album, Absolutely. And Trent Reznor.
Reznor, I mean,
okay,
yeah,
all right.
I mean, it's definitely. I mean, production-wise, it's definitely a step up from Portrait, but some of the tricks, the Nine Inch Nails tricks are a little much on this one. It's like save it for your own band.
Get that.
You know what I mean?
He's
pulling a full Feldy, like I said earlier.
Yeah, no, he is pulling a Feldy. He's Feldying before Feldy Felded.
That's true.
Pre-Feldy Feldy. So really, Feldman is Reznoring.
That's true.
I'm fine with that for sure.
Okay, so do we want to play Angel or do we want to move on to the lyrics? What do you want? I know it's your 2B. What do you guys want to do?
I'm happy to move on. Like we
I know
we're
it's
getting
fucking.
through a
It's
lot
so
of
late
the-
for you right now.
No,
Yeah,
it's
let's-
cool. It's cool.
We got like 6 more songs. We can just bang them out real quick and
Okay,
call it a day.
Yeah.
Lyrically on this one, I mean, this is just an extension of the last song. It's just more of him just talking about how people want to be like him and they're only viewing him as the rock star. But then if they really look deep enough, they'll see that he's like really flawed and fucked up, and he's gonna be the end of it all. That's kind of what I got. I jumped the gun. I know I jumped the gun here, but you know.
No,
What do you guys got on
that's-
this one?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty much what I got. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Again, like, yeah, it's like loads of cocaine very blatant cocaine reference. Want to powder his nose. You know, deflower the freshest crop. Again, nice way to piss off some Christians right there.
Yeah.
I love the imagery when he's like talking about drying up all the well with his rock and roll saws. And again, it's kind of like, for me, I jumped to like the lepers in the Bible. You know, again, there's a lot of biblical imagery that's kind of referenced rather than directly like pointed at. You know, but yeah, I think, I would agree when you say it's an extension of the last song. And I think that is probably what I kind of see them as a 1-2 because there is that segue. So, you know, it's kind of it's on my bangers list where it is, I think, because it's an extension of Mr. Superstar, really. And I really like that riff. It's just silly. I like the tone of the guitars in the riff. It's all about tone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be my summation.
All right. So the next song is Kinderfield. For me, this is not a banger. This is kind of, to me, this is kind of like a filler song as well. Like not a filler, but like an interlude song. But I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys got on this one?
I agree. This was like, if I had to pick a song that was the worst, this is it. This is, dude. That noise is so fucking annoying. It makes me giggle though. It's funny. Manson sings in that higher register. It's goofy, but like the guitar and the bass riff under him is super solid. So you're kind of distracted from how annoying his vocals is because of that like solid like rhythm that they got going on. The song does have a real like gradual build to it that I like, and the guitar gets heavier as time goes on, and there's like this cool like impending doom kind of feeling to it. But for sure, if I had to pick a worse song, it would be this.
It is. All right, that's fair. I totally understand that. So what do you got on this one, Skip?
I mean, I'm almost the same as Jeff. Very similar. It's weird. Like, I like how the song, like, again, it progresses quite nicely. It's a solid little riff. It actually progresses, but it's never really hit for me. It's got some really great lyrics. There's some really, really good imagery. Mm-hmm. You know, and again, Haven has the lyrics, smell like children. Yeah, there's some more repetition and you know, creating your own backstory and stuff going on there. And some lovely vocals, but it's just, I completely what Jeff says, basically. You know, it builds well, it's solid, but if I had to just pick a song that I was like, then this Kinderfeld would be it.
Yeah, agreed. It's
not a big.
It could be killed from the album. Just a ton of repetition. Lyrically, I don't think it progresses the song lyrically in the story, but it adds to it in that it adds to his thoughts and his views on life. But outside of that, it doesn't progress the story at all. That's what I got lyrically on this one. But like you said, Skip, there's a lot of there's good world building, there's good images in this particular song, but it doesn't add to the story. So the progression. But
I agree.
so that's all I got for Kinderfield. You guys got anything else?
That's it, baby.
That's it, baby. Dude,
All
we're
right.
good. Boom.
Okay.
Motoring. We're motoring.
Yeah, we're going now. We're going now. So
Yes.
what we have next is the title track, Antichrist Superstar. To me, this is my 8B. I think this song is fucking killer, but it's definitely not the best. But some people fucking think it's the greatest thing in the world. So what do you guys think on this one?
It's my 7B,
7B,
baby.
okay.
This is a nice, heavy intro. Again, I love the tone of the music here. Kind of has that same like saw sound, like going on, like we hear from like Weezer and like Get You or other Weezer songs. I like that saw sound. It's weird. It's cool. I like it. While listening to this, I'm hoping there is a transitional song into the third part of the album from Kinderfield, which is fine. If you're going to break apart your album into 3 parts, I just think you need to have a stronger transitional interlude song between parts. I didn't get that from Kinderfield to this one. It was just kind of, It was a cool transition, but like music from part 2, it was just, it's just played the same way and programmed instrumentals are programmed the same way. It was fine. Whatever. I need something more. But like on its own, it's kind of barely a banger. Like if I don't put it into the sequencing order, on its own, it's barely a banger. I only listed it as my 7B because, going in line with the order, the sequencing of the album, it's a banger. It's damn cool. But this is the transitional part between 2 and 3. And especially going into like 1996, which is a fucking banger. But, it's okay. It's okay. Sequencing wise, it's good. On its own, it's okay.
That's fair. That's very fair. I totally get what you're saying on that one. So what do you got on this one, Skip?
This is also my 7B. It's cool. I actually prefer the live version off Last Tour on Earth. I think just I like how raw it is. I remember vividly seeing this live. This is the song where he comes out with the big giant podium, does the burning of the Bible, ripping it all up. So there's a lot of imagery attached to it. It's just a good, solid, hard rock song. It's kind of like, as close to AC/DC as Marilyn Manson ever gets.
Yeah.
It's a big, silly, simple riff. It's kind of made to feel and sound like a political rally, I guess, with the haze. It's totally agree. Like on its own, is it a banger? No. Is it just a good hard rock song? Yeah. Is it the next part of the story? Does it progress the story? I think it does. Yeah. I love the repent bit. That's the killer bit in the whole song. And the riff. Yeah. It's a good song. 7B.
All right. So what I was reading too, it says that they layered this song like fucking crazy with the guitars. Apparently, is what they say. There's 26 rhythm guitars on this song, on this particular song, and then 5 lead guitar tracks just like thrown in there to give it this just like big heavy sound, hard rock sound, like you said, Skip. And I mean, I understand that. I understand doing that, especially back. I mean, it's crazy doing it back then because everything was done to tape. There was no Pro Tools. Nothing was really digital.
Yeah, I mean, that's full Billy Corgan shit.
Yeah,
great.
well, that's true. Yeah, it's like fucking Siamese Dream, but like not nearly as good. But this is like a slower jam. I mean, not only you have the big heavy guitars, but you have the drums are bigger and louder, and I think this is a really well done song. And it does guide you through the story. It kind of progresses it a little bit more musically and lyrically. But I guess that's why it's my AB. It's just not nearly as good as everything else, I guess, or all my other bangers. It's just solid, really, really solid stuff. So should we play it since it's a banger for all of us?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a little bit of the title track, Antichrist Superstar, from Marilyn Manson. There you go. There's a little bit of the title track, Antichrist Superstar. I mean, this is like a 5-minute song, so there's more that happens, but we're not going to go through this entire thing.
There's more that happens.
All right, so what do we have lyrically on this one? What do you got?
Go.
This semi-autobiographical too, also, as well. Antichrist Superstar, because of Christian upbringings and eventually the rejection of said values. But this is like a coming of age thing, right? This is the title track. This is what everything is culminating to. Everything's building up to this introduction as the Antichrist Superstar.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely. So,
Yeah.
what do you have anything? What else do we have on this one lyrically? Before I jump in.
I mean, like, yeah, as Jeff says, like, it's, it just is like the beginning of the end, I think, It's that, I said it before, like, the bit where it's just, the repetition of the word repent, that's what I'm talking about, it's that classic preacher thing, isn't it? It's got this full preacher vibe, get a little bit of Greek mythology in there, I am the Hydra, that cuts the head off, it grows back hard. And now you'll see your star. So he's almost playing the kind of John the Baptist role, for himself here, and being like, the Antichrist is coming, like, you're going to see your star very soon, and like Jeff was saying, growing up in a Christian household, the line, whose mistake am I anyway? Am I God's mistake? Am my parents' mistake? Like, what is going on? Like, that's pretty cool. I shed the skin to feed the fake. Again, it's kind of quasi-biblical.
I think that
like
line's
the way
really
it's
cool.
written.
That line's
And
great.
it's it is. And again, it's like a worm or a snake. They shed their skin. And it's like you feast upon all these different versions of myself. I'm constantly evolving and changing, and you're always one behind. You're eating the skin of the last one.
Yeah.
And you're all fake. These fake are, the beautiful people. The whole concept of the album, basically. We get the repetition from Crypt Orchid, prick your finger, it is done. Now, it's got the hard rock behind it as well. So it's like, it's getting closer, it's heavier, it's louder, it's way more aggressive. Going into like what we know is coming, like tracks, 1996. It's placed really well. Like the whole album flows really well. It's very well sequenced, and I like the bit at the end with the kind of early, kind of mid-90s computer voice that when you are suffering. Know that I have betrayed you. It's corny as fuck, but it kind of works, And like, there's processed vocals all over this, I think I prefer the live version because the vocals aren't processed so much.
Yeah.
So like, it's just him really go, and it's heavier the live version on Last One Up. Like, it doesn't have the slow build. He starts off like full belting it out with the "You Bring Me Up with Your Wishing Hell." So. Just like that version. Check it out, kids. It's on the Spotify's and the YouTubes and all the other streaming sites. Give us 5 stars whilst you're there. Asinine Radio.
oh wow,
Right.
I thought that was Tyler talking.
No, it's not me.
Holy shit!
He Skip's been promoting this podcast more than I have on this on this episode, so that's kind of nice.
That's what I'm here for, baby. It's what I'm here for.
It's kind of nice. Lyrically, I mean, you guys knocked it out of the park with this one. Just the only thing I have to add is like he really just doubles down on people feeding into his negativity and just clamoring for it and wanting more of his negativity. And then he calls them, and then it gets to the point where he even calls them out. He even says that they're foolish for their beliefs. Like he just straight out calls them stupid. And I don't know. It makes sense with the progression of the story. So that's all I got on this one, just to kind of add on to what you guys already said. So,
Cool.
1996 is the next one. This is my 4B. What do you guys got on this one?
This is my 3B.
Oof. Okay.
This is my 3B.
We're almost done. We're almost done,
yeah.
guys. We're almost done.
I got 2 more B's after this, but this is for sure like the last B that I would actually like to play to really talk about. Like this is
Okay. I want to play this one too. I do want to play this one.
dude. So first of all, like Manson is channeling his inner like Johnny Rotten with that dumb spoken part. Maybe I don't know, dumb, but I kind of like it. I kind of dig it. Like Manson's doing punk rock here. Don't need much. Right, drums stay the same. Guitar throws down some riff that just slows it down sometimes, whatever. But it's all in the bass. It's all in the bass and the soundscapes on this one. Palm mutes for days, love it. But that's where this song really shines, is the bass and the soundscapes. After so many songs prior to this, trying really hard to just, I don't know, trying really hard to do something more than they need to. It's nice to hear just a nice, basic, fun jam, and that's what this song is.
Agreed.
Musically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a pretty fast song. It's catchy, just great driving guitar. It's aggressive too at points. So
I've got almost the same notes. I literally wrote, Jeff will like this. It's basically hardcore punk. It's as close to Black Flag as I ever got. The last song is AC/DC. This is Black Flag.
Yeah.
It's a fuck you to absolutely everything you can think of. It's trying to offend as many people as possible in a short space of time. It's a banger. I think my only criticism really is it's slightly too long. But if I had to pick, it's similar vein to Little Horn. I think this is just even more so. But yeah, no, it's I love the fact the drums are just like pummeling. They stay the same. Like, yeah, palm mutes for days. I also have written down. Like, it's just, and like the vocal is great. He's just, and there is a Johnny Rotten to it. Like, I'd never picked up on that at all. But now that Jeff has said it, like, I'm never going to be able to unhear that. There is almost in like the way he's accenting it. Obviously he's American and Johnny Rotten's very English, but like, yeah, it's there, and it's that punk thing, isn't it? But
it's
obviously
like a purposely snotty, I don't know, portrayal
snotty.
of his vocals.
That's the word. Yeah, it's snotty, and like it's full on. It's punk. It's as close to punk as any. Well,
at least on this album.
Anything else on this record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so here's
we should definitely play it.
Here's a little bit of 1996 from the Mansons. All right, there you go. 1996 from Marilyn Manson. Lyrically on this one, I mean, this is like, to me, this is like the pinnacle of him like saying like, well, I'm pretty much like, fuck you all. This is I'm gonna release your worst fears on all of you, and this is the demise of mankind. That's what I got on this one. I know I jumped ahead, but
no, it's 100%. Like, he literally says, "Here's your Antichrist Superstar." This is it. Like, and I just love, like, I mean, I can see, like, this is. I mean, I've said it a few times this podcast over the past like 12 hours or whatever. This is one really aimed at fucking off the parents. I am the faggot anti-pope, man. It just, in 1996, Middle America, that does not get more offensive. Fuck, anti-cop, anti-president gun. He's talking. I mean, he's been obsessed with the Kennedy assassination for years. Again, he delves more into it in Hollywood. And yeah, again, great sloganeering chorus. Anti-people, now you've gone too far. Here's your Antichrist Superstar. You want it, you got it. Fuck you. I'm gonna burn the world. It's great.
Yeah.
It's so like to the point and aggressive and hardcore punk. Yeah.
That's good stuff, man. What do you got, Jeff? Do you have anything more or anything?
That was solid. I dig.
That was good. All right.
Can you dig it?
What?
That was good. Go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say?
It was a Warrior. I just said, "Can you dig it? Can you dig it?" From the Warriors, the movie The Warriors.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say something really snarky, but okay.
I know he's in The Warriors. Jesus Christ,
it's a great movie. It's a fucking great movie.
God,
Jeff, you and I even
genre.
You guys, you and I even dressed up as the guys from The Warriors for Halloween that one year.
I know the Baseball Furies.
That's amazing.
Yes, remember?
Yes, me, you, and Angel.
That's amazing.
I know.
We did. It was so stupid, but great at the same time.
It was one of the greatest costumes any of us have ever done. Honestly,
I wouldn't. It's hard to argue that. Absolutely.
You've only dressed up once in your entire fucking life.
Yeah, dude, I fucking hate dressing up. I fucking hate dressing up for Halloween. Oh man! All right, let's move on to Minute of Decay. We're almost done. 3 songs left.
Home stretch.
Really, only 3 songs.
Home stretch.
So, what do we got on Minutes of Decay? This is not a banger for me. So, what do you guys got on this one?
This is my 8B. 8B. Okay. So it's a later B. I think like finally we get a bass driven groove. It's kind of funny that we get thrown this groove, then the guitar turns their effects up to like 11 to make this super fucking annoying sound. I like that.
Yeah.
But I like it overall. I like the idea of just a rhythm section and then Manson doing a song while everyone else comes in kind of when they feel like it. And it reminds me of jamming and everyone backs off to like let the music breathe and like a good jam session, right? Like a
Yeah.
good jam session, everyone kind of lets everyone do their thing, but then everyone's so connected so well that they come in as a whole, but then back off when somebody wants a solo, when someone just wants to kind of like have the forefront and the groove. That's what this reminds me of, and I like it. And I guess like this would be what like jamming is in general, just to people that aren't just complete douchebags like Yngwie Malmsteen. So it's a good song.
It is a good song. It is really good.
It's a Manson jam song. It's a Manson jam song. Someone call it.
Kind of, yeah. Kind of. It's a stretch.
Yeah, kind of. It's not a banger for me. There's no stinkers, as I said right at the top of this podcast. It's good. I kind of agree with a lot of what Jeff just said. You know, this song breathes a lot more. It's less claustrophobic. The bass sounds less thick. It sounds more like less treated. There's no distortion on it really. It sounds more just like a bass guitar. You know, that someone is playing as opposed to like, you know, it's not being EQ'd to the point where there's you know, you can hear the attack on it way more than you can across the rest of the record. It sounds like it was maybe quite a kind of close mic'd, like live in the studio kind of take, which is cool. The guitars, again, like I agree with Jeff. I got very similar. I was just like, effects turned up. It's weird. It's kind of annoying, but it really works. And there's almost a call and response to the guitars and Manson's vocal, which is nice. It's kind of a blues rock thing. It's not a blues rock song at all.
No.
But there's, you know, bits from that. You know, it's much more of an organic song overall than a lot of this album. You know, again, I wonder if it was kind of, already written or just kind of existed. Before the whole concept of this album, you know what I mean? Like it could have been on Smells Like Children, like musically. You know, again, a really interesting vocal, but it's not a banger. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it's.
I think it's also because it's like a slower jam too. It doesn't. There's some cool build-ups, but it doesn't really. There's no like drop. There's no resolution to the build-up. It's like a Tool song, but not as annoying. And
yeah,
I mean that's kind of how I feel about this one, and it is more open-ended. It almost seems like this was kind of thrown on at the last minute, almost like, okay, we've written this story. We kind of gotta, you know, throw a song in here to kind of link the song before this and the song after this. Like this is almost a filler, but not a bad filler.
Yeah, it's a breather between 1996 and A Reflecting God.
Yeah.
You know, because otherwise that's almost 10 minutes of like, I mean, across a long album of like all out balls to the wall, you know, and it almost is like lyrically a kind of super long intro to The Reflecting God. You know, there's sorry to jump ahead to the lyrics, but you know,
no, go for it.
I went to heaven, everything was dead, you know, and that's again like lyrically very similar to what's coming next. You know?
I mean, and then lyrically too, he just kind of talks about the hypocrisy of men, and like he's fed up with all of that and just the bullshit of it all. And at this point, he just decides to destroy it all and take as many people with him as he can. I mean, just to watch
like,
the world burn.
The natural, like, you know, we are born and then we start to die. Like decay is literally the natural progress of life, of nature. You know, and there is a dark, twisted beauty to that, and you know, literally just say, I'm on my way down now. I'd like to take you with me. You know, this is the, you know, Antichrist Superstar is the beginning of the end. You know, and then the Antichrist has appeared in 1996, and then we get this is it. This is like he's almost like broken by the sheer weight of the responsibility that what he has to do, and that he was just a worm, just a boy. And like this is like him taking, it's a breather, and you say it's filler, but it's not bad filler.
No,
it's necessary.
It's
filler.
very necessary. Yeah. All right, Jeff. You got anything else on this one?
No, that's it. I mean, no, that's great. Okay. Good stuff. Good
All right, let's move on
stuff.
to Reflecting God. This is my 2B. I think this one really caught me off guard. So,
Wow.
what do you guys got on this one?
This is my 5B. This is my
Okay.
5B. Your world is an ashtray. Come, silly.
So great.
So silly and so stupid. Like you can't even make this shit up. It's so stupid. It really is. But I like the tom usage with the bass line. It gives the riff like an even deeper sound. So you're getting like in a lot of the low end stuff. We're getting the bass driven stuff. We're getting the tom stuffs. So I dig that because it's a lot of Manson vocal driven shit with guitar, bass soundscapes. That's great. The chorus hits hard. Sounds great. And the bridge, like the No Salvation part, dude, what a goodie. What a fucking fun little treat, right? What a fun little treat. They just got to throw every sound possible into this song. It's slow, fast, acoustic, heavy. Like, relax. You don't need to make this great of a banger this late in the album, but they did, and I appreciate it. It's my 5B. I love it.
Yeah. This is
also my 5B.
There you go. I mean, it's so. I mean, it's the bridge. It's the bridge that really just kind of set this apart for me. That's why this is my 2B. But
So
I love this
good.
one.
I mean, the bass line to this song is it's super fun to play. It's super great. Like, and yeah, I'd say the bridge rate, it just like speeds up, again, so simple. I remember like first learning to play that and like building up the strength to like be able to play like faster and faster and faster and faster and just been like, when you're 14 years old, you're a nerd at school, you look about 10, you're short, you got long hair, terrible skin, slamming this super loud on my bass guitar, fucking cathartic, man. Like, this song is great, and you play like a banger this big, this late in the game,
It's big,
and it's
but you need this to accompany the lyrics.
Oh yeah, and so much happens in this song. Like it's musically pretty complex,
Yeah.
And again, like it's a live staple, and it's a hard song I think to pull off live, And I've seen them do it, and they do it fucking well. And yeah, this is one of the best set of lyrics. Pure ego as well, pure rock and roll, absolutely amazing. And like he backs it up with a delivery, The performance of this song from the whole band is possibly the best on the record.
Yeah, it's solid, man. It's fucking solid. So, so let's play a little bit of the Reflecting God. Get into any other music things we missed, and then get into the lyrics. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
All right. So here it is, the Reflecting God from Marilyn Manson.
Your world is an ashtray. We burn.
There you go, the Reflecting God from Marilyn Manson. All right. So what else do we have on this song musically, lyrically? What do we got?
This is my 5B. This was your 2B.
Yeah, this is my 2B. Yeah.
You take it, dude. This is
Fuck,
your,
man.
this is your jam, bro.
Dude, that I mean, just the ashtray part in the beginning is stupid, but that bass line is so catchy, and the way the keyboards complement Twiggy's bass playing, it's just so fucking solid. Overall, man, it's the bridge that really got me. Just the toms in that bridge are fucking killer. But lyrically, you need this kind of music to kind of finish off what he's talking about lyrically, because to me, this is like him bringing everything down. This is where his narcissism has reached its peak. He realizes there is no God, but he is God. He sees in the reflection himself as God, and he brings everything else down with him. And that's why you need a song like this musically to accompany that. And that's what I got.
Yeah.
That's what I get.
So good.
Overarching
so
story
good.
wise.
It's so fucking conceited. It's so self-absorbed, but then it's so like pessimistic and cynical. Like everything about the song is so fucking dark and disgusting. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's such a
It is.
banger for late in the album.
It's literally apocalyptic, and it's supposed to be. That bridge is like, that's the soundtrack to the end of the fucking world. Love it. And like I love how he's twisting like Nietzsche as well. God is dead, etc. And I am. We are all our own God. When I'm God, everyone dies. Love it. So and like again, like themes that he would go on much further to explore on Hollywood. You know, shoot here and the world gets smaller. You know, it's true, man. Like one shot, and you know, you want the world to end. Cool, man. Pull a gun to your temple and pull the trigger. Your world's gonna fucking end. It's done. You know,
It's fucking dark.
yeah, it is fucking dark. It's a dark song. The bridge is so great, you know. And like, I even love the cheesy. You know, this is beyond your experience. It's so cheesy, but it's so good. Yeah, and just come on, screaming, shoot, motherfucker. You know, again, like, whew. You know, you're America. You know, there seems to be a mass shooting every week. You know, it's horrendous, and like he's calling that shit out. You know, right then and there, and so you know, like, you know, I thought, society will destroy itself. You know, he is the embodiment of it, and I just love the ego in the song as well. You know, it takes before this album came out as well. Like Marilyn Manson was a cult figure of that. He was nobody. To have the ego to write a song like this and pull it off,
or even an album like this, not just the song, but an album.
That guy deserves to be a fucking rock star, you know.
I mean, he like we said, he marketed it very, very well. So all right.
I mean, we could talk for hours just about his, his image and stuff, and I know we've touched on it, and
I mean, we touched upon it too.
Let's not go
like
down that rabbit hole
on the rankings too. I mean. Some of this, I mean, we touched upon a little bit on that, but it was. You could even see it on this.
A deliberate attempt from day one to market his image.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
As a brand.
Oh yeah,
that's fine.
But you know, he loves Kiss, the band who put brand in band. You know, like he's never been like shy about his admiration for Kiss or essentially ripping taking all their ideas and like remarketing it for 20 years later. You know.
Makes sense. It really makes sense.
Yeah, he knew what the fuck he was doing, man. Like he worked out how to do it and did it. You know, you know, and I think that's why he's had such tumultuous relationships with people, both personal and professional, because he will use people and then go, wicked, cool, got what I wanted. Next thing, you know, move on. You know, there is definitely a kind of calculated narcissistic side to Brian Warner as well as to Marilyn Manson.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't get into a certain position without a form of narcissism. That goes with anything, with politics, with music,
name me a
movies.
rock star who's not an asshole.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like a good rock
extent.
star who's not an asshole doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. You know.
Yeah. Obviously,
Maybe
it's
Fred
to varying
does.
degrees, but I mean, everyone's a narcissist if you're in a position of power, whether that be in the media or politics or whatever. But
especially artists, you know, if you're, to have the goal for the, the world should listen to what I have to say or do, artistically, and I mean that as in music, painting, sculpture, the whole art world.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not a narcissist, probably shouldn't be making art, to be honest. It's just never gonna happen.
That's so true. It's like what rock star is not an asshole? The only person I can think of, but we don't even know what this person like thinks about like the world views and their politics or whatever. It's like Dave Grohl. Like Dave Grohl is such a cool rock star that's always nice, but he never like inserts his opinion. So he's never quite like breaking that threshold of true rock star because he's never in support of something. He's never against something. He's always just kind of like the
he's
Foo
riding
Fighters,
the fence.
just
He's
very
riding
vanilla.
the fence. Yeah,
and in that way, he's not a great rock star. He's a great
You're right,
drummer,
absolutely.
But like, why are the Foo Fighters so fucking beige? Because Dave Grohl ain't a fucking rock star.
Can you even be a real rock star unless you take a hard stance for or against something?
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oof. But this late in the game, we've gone deep.
I know.
Absolutely.
It took us 3 hours.
Oh,
But we got here. We got here 3 hours later.
Oh man, I'm loving it. This podcast has gone everywhere.
Oh my god! All right, so we have anything else on the Reflecting God, or should we wrap it up with "Man That You Fear" and "Untitled"? Because really, I mean, "Untitled" is nothing, but
no, it just segues the album into a cycle, doesn't it? That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Like you go straight back into Irresponsible Hate Anthem, which is really cool, and to get into the idea of like how many universes have we been through and stuff, and woof, deep stuff. But yeah, we're skipping ahead. Man That You Fear. Man That You Fear. Go.
Yeah, what do you got? What do we have on this one? This is not a banger for me. Is this a banger for anybody else?
It's not a banger for me.
What do you got, Jeff?
No, this is not a banger for me.
Okay.
I honestly think this song shouldn't like even have existed on this album, because there's a lot of parts of this I don't like his vocal fry, fucking unmatched. Honestly, like the Kardashians have nothing on this fry here. It's super annoying. The first 2 minutes of the song are pretty throwaway. It does get better because of his like that marching drum roll beat thing, but then it cuts right back to like some slow shit. And there's some cool sounds, but it never really gets up. It never finds itself. It never establishes itself as being great. And if you're following like the reflecting God, I don't know. You got to bring the heat
you gotta
here.
have some
You got to bring the heat.
Yeah. But I mean, and he kind of did bring the heat with the last song, right? I mean, because this is like the downfall. He's taking everybody with him, and to me, Man That You Fear is the end of that. This is like the cooling off period. Everything's calm right now, but then like what Skip was saying with the Untitled song, where it's just kind of noise, it becomes repetitive. It becomes, we're gonna start from where we began. Like it's just gonna be a cycle of something. So like this song matches up lyrically in that he's pretty. He sees everything fall, but nothing has changed. Like even though man has failed, everything is still full of sin and disgusting and gross, and it's just gonna keep repeating itself. You're gonna continue to get like evil people that rise up and then fall and bring everything down with them, and it's just gonna be this cyclical thing. And I feel like this song works it only works lyrically. Like otherwise the song is not very good. Like it only accompanies the lyrics, and that's
true.
it.
Yeah, I mean, this song was written quite late into the game. If we're gonna take the long ride out of hell as some legitimate truth, he talks in that about going back to Fort Lauderdale and seeing, I think it's some reason, a funeral or something, and he goes back and everyone's like, no one really wants to talk to him, and everyone's sort of looking at him like he's a freak.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he came up with the lyric, "The boy that you loved is the man that you fear." So I think it's almost like he had this idea for quite an autobiographical song, and then he tried to kind of get it into the concept. In a way, the album could have ended with the reflecting God, with the end of everything. Ending on just shoot, motherfucker would have been pretty cool. He got better at ballads. This is like a prototype, and it doesn't come off. I think we'd all agree. He gets better at the kind of ballad. Mm-hmm. Towards the end of the lyrics, I guess he's trying to get it more into the concept, and pray now, baby, pray your life was just a dream. And it's kind of like, we're in this kind of post-apocalyptic wasteland, and there's nothing left to do but pray to a God that's not there. There's no one left for you is the last lyric. There's a few lyrics that are cool, but you poisoned all your children to camouflage your scars. I think that's in one succinct line the idea that obviously sins of the father. That whole concept that we raise our kids in things that we believe, and we twist their minds, and we do shed their own propaganda to our children as we raise them. So there's some cool ideas, but I think by the nature of this song, it's sort of compromised, because he's trying to write this personal song about his, he's gone off and become like a cult rock star. He's toured for 3 or 4 years solid, opened for 9 Inch Nails. He's recording this album that he knows, like, this is going to be big, this is going to be it. Goes back to his hometown essentially, and everyone's just like, you're a fucking freak, man. Like, we've seen you in the news or whatever, and you're hanging out with all these weirdos, and you're dressed like that. And this is the early 90s, early to mid 90s. Very conservative time. So it's compromised because he's trying to shoehorn in like the end of the album, this autobiographical sense, and it just a style of songwriting that he hasn't really got his head around yet. This is the first ever Marilyn Manson ballad, really, and it's not a banger. It just doesn't quite work. But preps for trying. Try again, Brian. By the end of
Try again.
But someone told to get to Hollywood, he's really got this shit down.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Hollywood's a solid record. It is.
Oh, it's a great record.
Yeah.
It's my number 3, baby.
That's why it's my number 1. Jeff doesn't know what he's doing, but that's fine.
Okay. Okay.
High as fuck on the silly juice. High as fuck on silly juice.
Love silly juice, baby.
Okay. Do we have anything left on Man That You Fear or Unentitled?
No, dude. We just did it.
Well, I can't believe it.
Woo!
I mean, this is.
That was it.
I didn't think we were going to take this
fucking did it.
deep of a dive, but we fucking did it. I'm proud. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of all of us.
Yeah, man.
We all deserve a
we
pat
are
on the
about-
back.
This was exceptionally long. I could not. Yeah, I cannot fucking believe
Yeah,
it.
it is almost 4 a.m. here.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, it's flown by. I have to say, guys, like I've had a fucking wonderful time.
Awesome,
You guys
awesome.
have been great, and yeah, let's wrap it
Let's
up
wrap it up.
and get our final thoughts using the well patented rating system.
So-
I'm not doing this shit anymore.
so-
Go on, Tyler.
so,
Take it away. Take it away.
I will say this is the longest episode we've done on a specific album. This is over 3 hours long. So
Yeah, I thought like the last was long.
yeah,
Like,
no, this
the
is
last one I did.
this takes it to the next level. So that's awesome. I'm stoked on it. This has been a good one. So with that being said, we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna give our final thoughts, and then we're gonna rate this with our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're gonna continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album but give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard in your fucking life. So with that being said, final thoughts, rating. What do you got, Jeff? Go.
This was the. I mean, I to say like this was the most Manson I've listened to my whole life is just like an understatement, because this is like the only Manson I've ever listened to. And yeah, I mentioned that I had got Mechanical Animals from Columbia House Records, but I got it just to be cool. I don't think I liked it. Don't think I even listened to it. I don't remember it. And so this has been my introduction to Manson, was this week. And so we didn't even touch about any of this personal stuff in Brian's life, but it was just like this whole week was fuck. This whole like 2 weeks has just been so much information, and even the documentaries, from Rachel and
Ever
just,
Rachel Wood?
God, there was just so much that I just dove into, and honestly, like most of it was boring. Most of the stuff surrounding Manson is boring. Very, very few of it was like really, really good. Most of it was boring. Some of it was really, really bad, like Mechanical Animals. I will give Hollywood another listen to after this, but I'm not going to even fuck around with Mechanical Animals. Most of Manson listened through was boring. Most of it I found just petty, and this guy is just up his own ass since the beginning. However, like this shit was good. This album was so. I think like ranking wise, this is his best that he's done. Even though it's my second favorite, my favorite just because it's goofy, it's lighthearted, it's whatever. But this is just like a really well crafted, cohesive piece of music, similar to that of like Tommy. People like The Wall by Pink Floyd. I don't, but I understand why people like it. This is a well crafted album through and through, front to back. It tells a story. It's part of a bigger story. Lyrically, musically, everything about this album is top notch. There's a lot of time and effort put into this, and it shows, because nothing on this is bad. There are parts that don't stand up on their own, but they're not meant to stand up on their own. They're meant to be part of a cohesive story.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
like, these are all, I'm giving all these excuses as to why I'm going to rank this album like a 3 out of 3. This is unreal.
Are you serious?
This was so
Oh, you're
fucking
so
good.
fucking
This was so good. I could not believe
Oh my
how good this was. And we're talking, this was a complete turnaround, a complete fucking 180 for Mechanical Animals. I did not want to do this. Listen, halfway through Mechanical Animals, I didn't want to do this. I wanted to think of any excuse possible not to do Marilyn Manson, because I thought this is the stupidest fucking music I have ever listened to in my life. And some of his stuff is really, really, really stupid and dumb and childish, and he needs to grow the fuck up. But this is something else. This is something else.
I
This
can't
is some
believe you
shit
gave
that-
this a perfect 3. I
This
can't
is some
believe
shit
it.
that people in the '90s need to like take note of. This is something that Trent Reznor needs to take a step back and be like, wow, if I wasn't so far up my own asshole, I could write a fucking saga, a poem, a story, a play, half as good as Antichrist Superstar.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
That's it, man.
Fucking shit, dude. I did
Blown
not
away.
see that coming.
That's some
Honestly,
cool
blown
shit,
away.
man.
Wow.
Oh,
Holy fuck.
Honestly blown away.
I'm so proud of you, Jeff. That's amazing.
I mean,
Honestly fucking blown away.
I'm just surprised. I can't believe it. Wow. Okay.
I honestly I can't either. But I cannot find any faults other than like if I'm picking apart this one song, like I can't find any other faults. Can't.
All right. That's fair. It's fair. You've given a good case. So
yeah, man.
that's good. That's
Good
awesome.
stuff.
Damn.
So what do you got, Skip? What are your final thoughts on this one and your rating?
My final thoughts and rating. Well, yeah, it's one of the best Nine Inch Nails albums ever written. No, it's
It is the best Nine Inch Nails ever written, but
you could argue it. No, yeah, Jeff has said a lot of stuff that I fully agree with, and I hadn't listened to this album in I would say probably almost 10 years, and I love this album to death. I listen to it every day for I don't know, months solid probably. I learned to play to this album. It holds a real solid place. So it was really cool because I think it had been so long that I was able to be objective, bar maybe Angel of the Scadwings, which is pure nostalgia driven, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think, one of the most cohesive concept records put to tape, It really sucks that we've never had a reissue, really, or remaster. Because imagine this remastered, I bet it would sound fucking huge.
yeah, oh, absolutely.
And it's a real shame that, two white boy egos spatting in the 90s had meant that's never going to happen. He has gone on record since and said, he really regrets it. Trent, he's been there was a lot of drugs, a lot of bullshit going on. But, as Jeff says, we can nitpick and how we've nitpicked for 3.5 hours and point out, not every song is a banger, but as a cohesive, as a musical journey, as a actual, this is probably the first concert record that I really understood and got behind, as a piece of rock and roll history, a thing that, it created a superstar, literally. Manson became the figurehead for American controversy, for the ultimate scapegoat for everything. His entire career, was from this record. Its importance cannot be understated, I don't think. Mm-hmm. He should have stopped maybe 20 years ago. I mean, imagine if he'd just come out, released a triptych, and then disappeared. Fucking hell. But he hasn't, and that's cool. Jeff said, I'm definitely feeling some Brian burnout. There's a lot I'll never listen to again. But coming back to this album for the first time in I reckon 10 years, man, I was blown away by production, by the just the amount of the drive that Brian and the band must have had to make this record and to make it what it is. Their backs were against the wall. They were elbow deep in cocaine. They had fuck all money, really. It was just really Brian, Geordie, and Trent, making something because they had, especially Brian, had so much self-belief that they could do this, that he could do this. And so I think it's unjust to give it anything other than 3 out of 3.
Woo! Damn, you guys are
I don't do this often.
insane.
I don't do this often.
You
Coming
guys are
out
insane.
hot. Coming out fucking hot.
Holy fit. Fuck. Almost
But
a fit. Wow.
yeah, it's just it's one of those albums that it's unique as well.
It is, yeah. Holy shit, man. 3 out of 3 from both of you. That's unheard of.
It's rare, buddy.
That's
It's
unheard
rare.
of. I don't even think we did that with. No, we probably did it with the last.
Honestly,
we all
the
did that
pressure
at 3 out of 3.
the pressure is on now because no matter what you say, you're going to be in the wrong. If you also give it a 3 out of 3, everyone's going to be, oh, you
I'll be
just
in the
do it
wrong.
because everyone else do it. But then if you don't give it a 3 out of 3, if you give it like, I give it a 2.9, then everyone's going to think that she's a little fucking cunt.
I'm feeling Tyler's going to come out with a strong 2.75.
Honestly,
I don't know. Honestly, now I don't know. I thought like prior to this thing right here, this upbringing, this whatever I'm saying right now, I think he would have gave it like a 2.9. But now I don't know. Now I have no idea.
maybe I should.
Whatever
never
it is,
give
gonna be
a
wrong.
rating. Maybe I should.
Whatever
just
it is,
keep it a
gonna be
mystery
wrong.
forever. I'll just keep it a mystery forever.
A mystery that known only to yourself.
Yeah, only I know. So, yeah, my thing here, I didn't expect a lot from this Manson listen through, and I was very pleasantly surprised with a good chunk of it. But yeah, like you guys said, there's some fucking trash. There's some boring stuff that Brian did, and yeah, I mean, you guys all touched upon it. I'm not going to go any further. I agree with pretty much everything you said. I think this is a perfect concept record, and I was blown away at his lyrics. Like, just the way his world building was amazing. And the thing that really stepped it up for me, I know Jeff didn't read or listen to it, but his book, I listened to half of the audiobook so far, and his writing is remarkable. Like he in the book he does some short stories. Some short stories are added to the book, and they're completely vile and disgusting, but they're absolutely captivating. And that's how I feel about this particular record and the lyrics and the storytelling on this. I think it's fucking awesome. And with that, I'm going to have to give this a perfect 3 out of 3. I don't do that often. I don't do it often.
Baby.
I gave it a 3 out of 3 because his lyrics are that good. The production was that good. Yeah, we made fun of Trent a lot and Nine Inch Nails a lot on this, but it worked really well in Manson's favor, and I think everybody just killed it on this.
What have we become? Like, honestly, what the fuck has this pod become? Where we started out just goofing off about like Blink and Weezer, and now we're giving like perfect scores to Marilyn Manson records. What the fuck is going on with this podcast?
What?
I don't like it. I'm scared. I'm terrified. I don't know what to do. Honestly, this is
Mate, the pod that you loved is the man that you fear.
don't Manson quote me, okay? Don't do that. Don't.
Not right now. Like your brain is soft and malleable.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh my god! Well, we did it.
What a great hustle, guys! What a great hustle!
Oh man! So
Fuck me.
Thanks again, Skip, for sticking it out with us and staying up literally all night. It's probably like what 4:30.
It's 10 to 4. So yeah,
Jesus
but no man,
Christ,
it's been unreal. Like it hasn't felt like nearly 5 hours. And thank you again. Always a pleasure to be invited on. Always fun to shoot the shit with you guys. You know,
It's
you
always
guys are
fun.
great. Yeah, we have a good time. We say literally a lot.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, man, and yeah, it's been great. It's been a lot of listening, a lot of talking. But mate, I've had a great time.
It's been good. It's been good. So, thank you to anybody who's still actually listening. All this stuff. Go give us 5 stars, and you know what? That's it. That's all. Brian Warner.
Brian. Everyone loves the Dope Show.
Everybody loves the Dope Show.
Yeah. Edgelord Tyler over here. Oh, it's popular. I don't like it.
I'm telling you, all the fucking time with this kid.
You know what, Jeff? I mean, the best song on this is "Arm a Goddamn Motherfucker."
You're so
like,
stupid.
Without a doubt, that is the best song on here.
Did you fall fucking down before you came here? And that's Mechanical Animals. That's it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Everything else, you both are just fucking 69ing each other the entire time.
Jeff's so pissed right now.
Oh, I know.
No, I'm not mad. I just think I think that you guys have fallen down and have a concussion possibly.
I thought he just walked out. I thought he just hung up. He's like, fuck it, I'm out.
It's just disconnect.
Yeah. It's your pod, baby. You do what you want.
It's Tyler's pod, but that's fine.
Nocturnicate, yeah.
Nocturnicate.
So, not the worst Mars Volta record.
It's not.
Not at all.
Ambidextrous is the worst Mars Volta record. You're right.
Well, you're fucking stupid. So
Smoking the silly stuff again, drinking that silly juice.
just seriously, like when we talk about silly boy talk, that's like the worst of the silly boy talk. Yeah, I love Billy Corgan. Jeff should too.
Billy loves Billy Corgan.
That's true. He does.
There's
Oh,
enough
boy.
love from Billy Corgan for Billy Corgan that no one else needs to love Billy Corgan.
Yeah, but that's cool.
Oh man.
Very similar notes. When it's like, I love the guitar tone. It is obnoxious. I literally wrote obnoxious as well. Literally.
Literally. It's even
Literally.
worse when you
I
say
wrote-
literally.
Literally, chaps. Calm down, Jeffrey. Come on. But
They're food for other like things that eat shit, like frogs and stuff, and lizards. Like butterflies are trash, caterpillars are trash, worms are where it's at, baby. Love worms.
that's your. That is right there. That's the intro to the episode. Caterpillars are trash. Butterflies trash. Worms.
Caterpillars and butterflies are trash. Worms are where it's at. And then like there's this really like funky drum beat that's being thrown down. What's the drummer? Gingerfish.
Gingerfish.
Ginger Baker. Yeah, Ginger Baker is throwing down a nice.
Ginger Baker.
Can you imagine?
Oh God.
Ginger Baker and Marilyn Manson collaborating. That's yeah.
But he didn't write this one, did he? I don't think he wrote this one.
I think
He plays on it.
Yeah, he
Oh, does he?
plays on
Okay,
it.
okay, I'm wrong. Okay, sorry. My bad.
That's cool. I mean, this is
So
This is my-
condescending.
That's cool.